Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Good evening, West Orange. Welcome to the Township Council meeting for September 30th, 2025. We apologize for the delay. We are a little bit behind schedule. Apparently, there was an accident on 280 delaying our start and people coming into the meeting. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Acting Council President Michelle Castellino.
Thank you, Mr. Fagan. And before that's official, I need Madam Clerk to make a statement and we need to take a vote. Quick vote. Madam Clerk.
I don't know why I'm hearing feedback. Something's playing feedback for me. Should I open to the?
Yeah.
Okay. This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on January 7th, 2025, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on January 16th, 2025. Councilwoman Rudin?
Here.
Councilwoman Scarpa?
Present.
Councilwoman Castellino?
Present.
Mayor McCartney. Let the record show that Council President Krokoviac is absent tonight, so we will be taking a motion and a second to approve Councilwoman Castellino to take over as the Council President pro tempore. Is there a motion?
Yeah. So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, council colleagues.
Councilwoman Rudin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa?
Yes.
Councilwoman Castellino?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank
Take it
you.
away, Council President.
Thank you and welcome everyone to the September 30th meeting. This is very exciting. We have a lot of our youth teams here this evening to be recognized. It's been a while since we recognized a team with our busy agenda. So tonight, hopefully we have a lighter schedule. If you're here for the budget hearing, that will commence at 7:30 p.m. And we thought tonight would be a great opportunity to welcome all our youth athletes and give them their recognition as well deserved. I'm going to go up to the podium. I'm going to ask the mayor to join me. Thank you. So for over 60 years, the West Orange PAL has been supporting youth programs here in the township. Young boys and girls and young men and ladies have been participating in these programs. Our coaches have been working hard for many years, and our parents and all the participation. And this year, we're very excited with a new team that has joined the ranks of the PAL last year is the girls flag football team. So let's give a hand to our ladies. And we are very excited for you to join the other football, cheerleading, and baseball teams. PAL has always promoted team workmanship, leadership, and great citizenship in our community. And that stands proven this evening. So I'm going to ask the first team to come up for the 12U Mustangs, our coach, Asmar Capers. Coach. And before I begin, if you'd like to say a couple words about your team. Real quick.
Put me on the spot here. Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to the parents. You are definitely raising some great young women. And that made my job easier, so much easier. I love this team. They're funny. They have a good time. They work hard. And the best part about it, they were competitive. And that reflected in their record. What's coming to mind right now is that line from Remember the Titans. It's like, hey, we're not perfect, but this team is. So that's all I got. That's all I got to say. And thank you again.
And Mayor, if you mind reading the first team, the recognition there, and then I'm going to ask my colleague.
All right, so this is the West Orange PAL 12U girls flag football team. Oh, let's see, the West Orange PAL 12U Mustang white team won. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry. New Jersey Suburban Youth Football League 12U girls flag football championship on June 14th, 2025, and this is quite an accomplishment. During the second season, 12U Mustangs were, let's see. Oh, thank you. Sorry, thank you. All right. So during the second season, they went undefeated, 8-0. They scored at least 21 points every game and led the league in touchdowns, heading into the playoffs as the #1 seed. They defeated Berkeley Heights Lady Vikings 26-13 in the championship game. Mayor and the West Orange Town Council are proud to recognize and congratulate the 12U Mustang Girls Flag Football White Team on their excellent sportsmanship and wishes them continued success in their future. Thank you.
And coach, if you could call up, I'm gonna ask the coach to call up his players.
All right, a couple players are not here, but I'm going to recognize their name as well. We have Naomi,
You can come up to the podium when your name is called.
Monroe Finley, AKA Remote, Maddie B, Madison Brooks, Maddie I, Haley Gomez, Clara Lee, Samaya Murray, Faith, AKA Grandma. Last but not least, Jade Scott. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Want to get up? Parents, if you want to take a picture, come right up here. And now, yeah, no, go. There you go. Go ahead.
Everybody look this way. Everybody look this way. And hold the photo because of the parents here.
About that. Yeah, well, before we last one. No, it's something about the next. We'll do the same thing. Okay. Thank you very much and congratulations on a great year. Next, I'm going to ask Coach Dominic DePasquale to come up for the 14. Wow, Coach, impressive. Your team must like you. I like that. Coach, if you'd like to say a few words about your team before we read the recognition?
Good evening. This year, our team had the opportunity to go back-to-back championships, something that's very tough to do in any sport. Coming from behind, coming from the #4 seed, defeating the #1 seed to get into the championship, and then beating the #2 seed to win the championship. It's a very major accomplishment that they had, and I'm just very proud of how they played the rest of the season. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna ask my councilwoman Scarp to hand these out. Council, Mayor Parisi, if you'd like to read this certificate. Oh, Mayor McCartney, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, we've been doing this a long time.
I think
Yeah, that's right. All right, so this is the West Orange PAL 14U Navy Girls Flag Football Team. They won the New Jersey Suburban Youth Football League Girls Flag Football Championship on June 14, 2025, making this a back-to-back championship win. Quite an accomplishment. During the second season of the league, the 14U Mustang Navy team went 4-2 for the season. They led the lead in touchdowns, heading into the playoffs as the number 4 seed. With determination and hard work and a positive attitude, the team ran through the playoffs, letting up only 1 touchdown. They defeated Berkeley Heights Junior Highlanders 27-12 in a championship game. So on behalf of the mayor, West Orange Town Council, we are proud to recognize and congratulate the 14U Mustang Navy Girls Flag Football Team on their excellent sportsmanship, great spirit, and continued success for your future.
Okay. Genesis Gomez, Jordan Brunson, Julia Philadelphia, Jalen Ocasio, Sophia Cochino, Ari Maddox, Ava Anton, Kimberly Lopez, Ellie Lacano, Emilia Morales, Violet Carvey, Mackenzie Rotundi, and Alita Lobin.
Let's get him, take a picture. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious, who's the quarterback? All right, everybody look this way. All right, everybody look this way. I used to be a quarterback. Okay, hold out pose.
Before I call our next team up, I just want to take a minute to recognize our 2 board members that are here tonight from the WPAL, and that is Dominic DePasquale and Cheryl Merklinger. As we all know, the hard work does not go undone without the hard dedication of these dedicated board members. For many years, they have been donating countless hours of their time and dedication to all of your sports, and to make sure they're successful, working with our high school staff and making sure we have great feeder programs. And now there's a girls flag football team up at West Orange High School. How about that? So we're really excited that our feeder programs have been producing up at the high school, and a perfect example of that, the next coach that I want to have up here, and we want to give his kudos on having a good year and hopefully the rest of the season, is Coach Darnell Grant. Okay, Coach is going to say a few words about his team.
Kids, you guys just don't know how lucky you are. I mean, to be a part of a community where they really put an emphasis on sports and show you how much they care about it is awesome. We had a great year. You know, we had a really, really good group of dedicated young men. They practiced really hard every day, and it showed in the way we played. We had awesome season. We won every championship we were into. They won outside tournaments as well. And these guys are also now part of our undefeated freshman team. So hopefully we'll be back holding the gold trophy in a couple of years. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Councilwoman Rudin to help us hand out the certificates and Mayor McCartney to say a few words.
Thank you, Coach. All right, so let's find out what they did. The West Orange Pals 7x7 14U Mustang Navy team won the first ever New Jersey Suburban Youth Football League 7-7 football championship on June 14, 2025. This is, again, quite an accomplishment. During this inaugural season, the 14U Mustangs Navy team went 7-1. They scored at least 20 points every game and led the league in touchdowns heading into the playoffs as the #1 seed. They defeated Bloomfield Cardinals 43-29 in the championship game. So on behalf of the mayor and the town council, we are proud to recognize and congratulate the 14U Mustang Navy football team on their excellent sportsmanship, and we wish them continued success.
Jelani Adams.
Hayden Grant. Hayden Grant. Hayden Grant. Ryan Hunter. Yambi Bodie. Amari Barnhart. Hayden Moore Jr. Jacob Weiner. Jacoby Warsager. And Caleb Harding. Also, we have our defensive coordinator in the wing back, Coach Cyrus Harper. He also helped out the team as well. Everybody look this way. He's a star wide receiver. Hey, everybody look this way. Oh. All right, thank you.
Hey, no. Great job, guys. Thank you. Okay, next. Up at bat, we have our baseball coaches here this evening, Coach Joel Diaz and Brett Mantone. They'll be here for 8U Mustangs program. Thank you, Coach. What if you want to say?
Yeah. So we had the privilege of coaching these young kids in the 8U level, and a bunch of our kids were new to the game, never played before. And we had an up and down season, but they really turned it on, especially in the playoffs. They won every game, championship game. We were down 2-1 in the 4th inning, and we won 12-4. These kids really picked it up. Also, you know, Coach and I, and there's another coach back there, Coach Carl, Carl, come up here, Carl, come on. Because it does take a lot of help to develop these kids, keep them on track, push them hard and stuff like that. It can't just be done by one person. So we had a nice supporting staff here. We pushed these kids and we saw the great development from day one to the last day. And I'm just proud of them.
Thank you. I'll ask the mayor to say a few words.
Congratulations. All right, so this is a West Orange Pal 8U Mustangs baseball team. They won the New Providence League 8U Championship on July 28th, 2025. Again, another great accomplishment. During the summer season, the 8U team went 3-6-1, making a strong comeback during the playoffs. They defeated Clark 11-5 to secure their spot in the championship game. They defeated Union Little League 12-4 in the championship game. So on behalf of the mayor and the West Orange Town Council, we're proud to recognize and congratulate the PAL 8U Mustang baseball team on their excellent sportsmanship, and we wish you continued success throughout the year. Congratulations.
The coaches call the players up, and Councilman Rudin, if you could be so kind to hand these out. Here you go, Coach.
Oliver Sterling. Garrett Sterling. Garrett, come on, Garrett. Garrett. Wesley, come on, boy, Wes. Anthony Mantone. Trevor McNeil. Jacob Diaz. Both of you. Oliver, I called you already. Jacob, come up. Okay.
This way. This way. Right, look this way. Raise your hand if you're gonna play for the Yankees. Okay, parents, have at it.
Okay, everyone, before everybody leaves, we have one last thank you. And that is to your parents and your family who gets you to all your practices and come to watch all your games. Let's give them a big round of applause. And as much as I would love for all of you to stick around for the rest of the meeting, I know it's been long, so we'll take a 5-minute recess. If you want to stick around, but actually before we do, we'll let you guys go. So we're starting the budget hearing at 7:30, but we're just going to break for 5 minutes because then we have our council liaison appointments. Thank you, everybody, for coming on down and have a great year.
Welcome back, West Orange. Thank you for your patience during the break. We are going to resume the meeting with council liaison announcements. There will be no indication on the screen because Mr. Dutiniak has the remote and is setting up for the budget presentation, final budget presentation. So at this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Council President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fagan, and thank you, members of the public, for being so patient with us tonight. We feel it's really important to recognize our youth sports teams and for all their hard work that they do throughout the year. So just before we start our council liaison appointments, because we're still technically in conference agenda, we are going to, at 7:30, have a public hearing on the budget. Any public comments at that time will be had after our CFO presents the budget to the public. And then after that session closes out, then we will take public comment on all other public matters. So I just want everyone to know, I had asked Madam Clerk to put it that way on the agenda. So I didn't want folks to come in early and waste, and feel that they were just sitting around. But we're trying to get everything done in a timely manner. And we don't want to be talking about the budget at 11 o'clock at night sometimes when we're talking about these numbers. So I appreciate everyone's support and patience. With that, Councilwoman Scarpa, Council Liaison announcements.
Thank you. Okay, the planning board, a lot going on with the planning board. I want to thank all of the residents, the many residents who attended our affordable housing meeting and gave us some such thoughtful comments. Chairman Bagoff heard you. He actually tabled the vote and was hoping to consider some of the revisions that you would like to see made. We are having another meeting on November 5th with those revised affordable housing revisions and some more thought about how we're approaching this. And I think it's important that everyone come out and take a look at how we are developing our township. The Older Adults Advisory Board is always on the move. We have been working so hard and provided business plans to the mayor and Laura Van Dyke for many new programs, all utilizing volunteers with no cost to the township. And we're looking forward to working with them to implement some more programs. I do want to say that our seniors, since we're talking about the budget tonight, are calling me and feeling that they're not getting a return on the investment of their tax dollars and would like to see more programming and something that is kind of a little kind of a senior program where they can have lunch together and have more programming at the CAT Center. Most townships, as you may know, have senior centers. We are working towards that. We don't right now, but we really appreciate all of the increased programming that Laura Van Dyke has been giving us. And we're working really hard with her to implement a lot of our programs. Many of the seniors have expressed interest in continuing our supper club, which we had started and are even talking about a happy hour at Rock Spring. So if anyone is interested, just contact me and we will be putting some of those programs together this fall. And that's about it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rudin.
Yeah, I have just a couple of things. The pedestrian safety meeting this month was analyzing different accident-prone areas in West Orange, particularly Prospect and Eagle Rock and Pleasant Valley Way. And looking over statistics of how those are our two most dangerous intersections. And, I'd like to, we talked about requesting a Rutgers study on what the impact of this affordable housing plan, which is really heavy on Pleasant Valley Way, will be if more development is planned. And right now, just so that you know the numbers, 1,217 new units are planned along Pleasant Valley Way alone. So the impact that this will have along that corridor is tremendous. We are also starting to look at the impact of e-bikes and safety in town and what should be done to possibly regulate e-bikes in town. Unfortunately, this week, we've had a lot of sadness in the news with 2 young girls being killed by bicycles. And I think there was another e-bike accident, and it's just, we need to get ahead of this and see what we can do to protect our streets and our children and our residents. And a lot of our kids are using e-bikes when they go to school. So this is something that we're just going to be starting with. I just wanted to say that yesterday it was really a wonderful opportunity for our township to speak directly with traffic engineers who have crafted a wonderful plan to help address the downtown parking issue. I, for one, am really excited about what their plan offers and very, very supportive of moving this forward so that people downtown don't have to run around all night looking for parking and can't find parking in the morning. So really excited about that plan, and I look forward to their report coming back to the council and us being able to move forward to help this area of town in particular. I also attended something on behalf of the township. There's an organization called MEND, which deals with food scarcity, and we do have tremendous food scarcity in West Orange. MEND is a fabulous organization that has been supporting our food pantry here. And I'm going to be working with them in the future, just in terms of more ideas of how we can help our kids. Right now, we do have a stationary bus, like a van, right outside of the middle school that has been offered to us by Tony's Kitchen. And it would be nice to see if we could get some food options going in there for the children when they come out of school. So that's it for my, one other thing I just wanted to say. It's been a long and noisy spring and summer. And those of us who were proponents of banning gas-powered blowers have not given up. And so I just wanted to invite everybody to attend a forum on October 29th. Maplewood and Montclair are putting together a forum in Maplewood on at 7 p.m. talking about learning from municipal leaders, advocates, health experts, land care professionals, and everybody who puts public health first for their community. So this is a great opportunity for people in the town to come and learn more about the benefits of going gas-free in our blowing equipment. And I urge everybody who has an interest in this and who would like to see West Orange move along this path to attend and learn from the two towns that have successfully done this and are boasting about how much it is saving them. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And, thank you, because education component is important. And that's what we've been saying all along, is for folks to get educated on, the pros and the cons, so they could make the right choices for their properties. I'm going to keep mine short because we're approaching 7:30, but I want to thank you to all my Downtown Alliance team for all their hard work. Next week, Downtown New Jersey will be in, and they will be spending 2 days in town with us up and down Main Street. So Ms. Brill and her team is very busy welcoming them here. Will help us with their input, provide us more additional support with obtaining grants for our downtown quarter, as well as strategies and support. So we're looking forward to next Wednesday and Thursday here. This past week, there was a few ribbon cuttings. I'm not sure if Mr. Fagan has them, but if not, we welcome the libraries, the cannabis retail operator on Washington Street. Wasabi Sushi reopened. Beautiful. If you haven't had a chance to go visit them, they renovated the entire restaurant. It looks beautiful. And Oko is back as well. They had some time as well for some items that they were doing in their establishment. So we welcome them all back, and we look forward to folks supporting them. Speaking of support too, up at the Kmart Plaza, we're very excited with Target coming in. But just a reminder of the restaurants and the businesses that are still there while all that construction's going on. So if you get an opportunity to support them, please do so. I was up at Frank's Pizza the other day. You can get to the back there. American Freight's back there, and some other businesses. You can get there. So please make sure you remember that they are there and go support. With that, it is now 7:30. I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to open up the public hearing.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The notice for this meeting was emailed to the Star Ledger and the West Orange Chronicle on January 7th, 2025, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on January 16th, 2025. Councilwoman Rudin? Here. Councilwoman Scarpa?
Present.
Council President Castellino,
Present.
Mayor McCartney. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The council is now in their public meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So I'm going to turn the program over to our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. John Detiniak, who has been working diligently this past year. And yeah, so I know you have something on the screen for us. You want to start there or you want a statement first? Okay.
Thank you, Council President. So I'm going to be brief. We've had a lot of documented hearings about this budget, and I understand we have other business to get to. So I'm going to talk about what was essentially the introduced budget from July 22nd with a reference to the pending amendment resolution that we're going to hopefully adopt on October 16th. I guess just my opening statement would be that, this was my first budget year in West Orange. I've learned a lot through this process. And, I think as a group, administration, governing body, the leadership for the township, we understand that, the approach for 2026 has to be different. And we're committed to a new approach, an approach that hopefully brings us all together in a way that maybe the 2025 budget approach didn't. So let me kick things off with the impact. So what was the 2025 introduced budget? Because again, this hearing is on the introduced budget. What was the impact on the average home? So not talking about the school board, not talking about the county, just municipal operations in the library. The increase from 2024 to 2025 for the average home is approximately $99.04. And the breakdown for that is $80.83 for municipal operations and $18.21 for the municipal library levy. I'll speak louder because of the air. The municipal operations, that includes police and fire and recreation and all of the support staff in finance and tax and senior programming, health department. That's municipal operations. The library levy is mandated by state statute, and it's based on the net valuation taxable of the township. And we send that levy over to the municipal library to use for their own operations. So a budget amendment that is the fruit of the last, 6 or 7 budget hearings is going to reduce that total increase to approximately $47.21. So down from $99.04 to $47.21. That was through the budget hearings and the assistance of the Citizens Budget Advisory Board and the council. Recognizing the impact of the revaluation on many of the residents and what that revaluation has done from a year-over-year tax impact. I think it was important to the council to get the increase as low as we possibly could. So like I said, on the 16th, we're going to introduce an amendment that's going to reduce that increase. So on the municipal operations side, it's $29 or so. So what do we do? As a township, we have more than 47,000 residents, 14,000 households. We have nearly 500 commercial and industrial property owners. We maintain 100 miles of roads and sewers within a 12.2 square mile area. And the roads and the sewers, it's not flat. This is a hilly municipality, which presents many challenges for our infrastructure. We have approximately 333 acres of parkland and township-owned properties, and it happens 24 hours per day, 365 days a year. So what is included? What do you get for your municipal taxes? I used to have a an old CFO that say, what don't you get? From your municipal taxes. So you get an amazingly beautiful public library with breakout spaces and, video conferencing. You get a jitney service that, services the entire town. We're running 7 routes, I think now. Snow removal on these hilly roads. West Orange does it about as good as anybody else. Of course, garbage, which, you go to many places in New Jersey and it's like, wait, you get bulk pickup every week. Pick up twice a week for your garbage. That costs a lot of money, but it's what the people want and it's what they get. Incredible recreation programs like we had the teams here. That speaks for itself. We have a paid fire department and paid EMS. You call 911 here and you get somebody at your house within, probably less than 2 minutes. That is what you pay for when you have paid fire. Volunteer fire and EMS is great, but the response times in many of the communities that have volunteer are not as fast as the paid departments like we have in West Orange. We have an incredible police force. The leaf removal, I don't know if I want to touch leaf removal, but we do it. Township celebrations, that is not a firework. That is a sparkler. It's not a firework, just sparklers. And senior services and really, the list goes on. We have incredibly dedicated staff, down the line from staff to leadership, that pour everything of themselves into this job. And, it's wonderful to be supported by administration and the governing body in everything that we do. So where do my taxes go? This is a pretty typical breakout for taxes in Essex County. So the lion's share of your tax dollars go to the Board of Education to support the schools and all the programs and salaries and wages and all the costs of educating students. That's 62% of your tax bill. Then we have the county taking up roughly 11%. The library is a little bit more than 1%, but we're getting to pretty small percentages here. And then we have a municipal open space fund, which we are maintaining that same levy despite the reval increase in the net valuation taxable. So that again, we're being cognizant of the fact that the tax impact of the reval on a lot of our residents, we did not increase that municipal open space levy. And then we have the township piece, which is 25% of your tax bill. And again, that's what gets the paid fire and EMS. It's police services, garbage, it's snow plowing, it's road repairs, it's recreation, it's building department, it's code enforcement, senior services, again, all of the different services that the township provides. That's 25% of your tax bill. So our municipal budget. So what drives our municipal budget? And from a very high level, it's personnel costs. The men and women that work for the township, they are the biggest cost driver for this budget. So it's not just salaries, it's health insurance, it's workers' compensation insurance, it's costs related to the pension system that we participate in, the public employee retirement system, and the police and fire retirement system. They are driving the total budget basically. And then we have fixed costs. Fixed costs are related to our debt service, our capital, liability insurance, payment to the joint meeting for sewer treatment. And then it's everything else. And the everything else is, when we need to pay for our buildings, or we need to do, repairs to equipment, or, paying for our operating costs for our police and fire and DPW. But again, the major driver is our personnel. So what were the drivers for the 2025 appropriations? So we really had minimal increases in debt service and capital this year. We've hit sort of a ceiling in terms of debt costs. Now, that is obviously influenced by short-term markets because we do have a pretty sizable short-term bond anticipation note out there. So, as rates go up, obviously the interest costs for those notes are going to go up, and the inverse is that as rates go down, we see a savings in terms of when we roll those notes, the interest rates that we're getting. Deferred charges. So what is a deferred charge? The state of New Jersey allows the township to spread the costs of certain things out over the course of 3 to 5 years. Things like the revaluation can be raised over 5 years so that we don't have to ask the taxpayer for all of that money up front in the form of a tax increase. So, we have deferred charges that we're raising over the course of 5 years. And so year over year, that deferred charge amount has gone up $140,000. Insurances. So we went up $1 million in insurance, largely driven by the health insurance program. So, high level, real quick, our health insurance plan covers both our active employees and our retirees. And actually, the legacy costs for the retirees are approaching what we pay for our active employees. Our active employees do contribute to the cost of the health insurance. That's legislation passed by Governor Christie called Chapter 78. So, our employees are paying a lot more for insurance from when they first signed up to be municipal employees. But what we do is we try to be flexible and adapt to the market. So we are not in the state health benefits program. If anybody here or at home has followed the state health benefits plan for the last couple of years, the costs have dramatically increased to where I think they even put out an article that they were in a death spiral. So that 2026 increase for state health benefits is 36%. The Township of West Orange decided some years ago that we would be self-insured for our claims. And that, again, allows us for when we have years that are good, we can put money aside for when those years that are not so good. So right now we're self-insured for healthcare claims. We have a private plan for prescriptions. And then we have for our Medicare, we're part of the health insurance fund. But every year we work with our professionals to see if there's areas where we can save. And we're doing that right now for 2026. Pension costs. So all of our full-time employees, if they're eligible, which most of them are in one of two pension systems, the public employee retirement system or the police and fire retirement system. Obviously, our public safety personnel would be in that second pension, police and fire. And there's an annual appropriation cost for those pension systems. So our employees do contribute. Our public employees contribute 7.5% of their salary into the pension, and our police and fire contribute 10%. And then every year, the state of New Jersey, they determine a funding percentage using an actuarial service, Aon. They send us a bill that's payable on April 1st, and it's in the millions of dollars. And there's nothing we can do. We have to pay that bill. Thankfully, year over year, we actually had a bit of a reduction in pension costs, and that was based on the base year salary, which was June of 2023 that was used for the calculation. Salaries and wages are our biggest increase. It's our biggest part of our budget. The township settled contracts with all of the unions back in December of 2024. And it reflected an increase in 2024 and in 2025. So that we really have 2 years of increases in this budget. And that is one of the major drivers of appropriations was the contractual increases for all of our unions. So full-time employees, I thought this was a really interesting chart. You know, we've dipped from a high of 375 employees back in, and this is full-time, back in 2006 to this number is actually from today. I did update it today, 292 full-time employees. So, you know, headcount has gone down. But again, we try to deliver the same great service, doing more with less. Because again, we're very cognizant of the fact that the employees and their salaries and their fringe benefits impact the budget tremendously. So we're trying to be very smart in how we deploy headcount and who we hire and how we hire and sort of managing the increases because, you know, when you hire someone, the cost for that employee will typically go up over the years with the step programs that we have in place with all of our unions. Total personnel costs, again, we had the settlement of the contract, the fringe benefit costs with the cost of insurance and the calculation of pension, driving up personnel costs. So looking ahead, you know, we have a lot of work to do. We've already started for 2026, but, you know, our debt has been mentioned many, many times in this room. We have come up with a debt management plan that I think at some point I will present. But we're going to continue to seek ways to manage our debt profile. That's being strategic when we go out in the market for permanent financing and how we time those things. It's going after Green Acres money, like for the Rock Spring property and managing the pay down of that debt so that we're not permanently financing an amount larger than we need to. And again, it's being strict and following the debt management plan that, you know, I've worked out with the financial advisors that we utilize. The healthcare costs, like I talked about, we try to stay very flexible and you know, we can make moves on an annual basis that if we would been stuck in state health benefits that we really can't. You know, we look at all different avenues, the HIFs, private insurance, being self-insured, like this for 2026, we were talking about being self-insured for prescription drugs and taking advantage of all the reimbursements that are on you know, all of the weight loss drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound. You know, being in private insurance, we don't get the benefit of the reimbursements. The private insurance company does. So again, we're never trying to just stay with one thing. We're looking to see what's going to give the best value to our taxpayers. Evaluating our third-party vendor relationships from a cost-benefit perspective. I think this is something that the council has asked for. I know it's something that the council's asked for. So we're looking at that right now. You know, can we do things in-house versus going out and you know, seeking a third-party vendor to do things. You know, we don't want to just, you know, do the same thing every single year. You know, we want to improve every single year. And, you know, I have a relatively small staff, so we look to work on the biggest bang for our buck projects, and this is one of them. We've talked about this before, determining the need and the financial viability of creating a separate utility for sewer, parking, and or stormwater. We had the traffic engineers come in and talk about an overhaul for our parking. You know, is it something that maybe we want to have as a separate utility because there's going to be some capital involved? I think everybody is talking about stormwater and some municipalities have already started stormwater utilities. So we need to explore that. And, you know, there's money available from the state to really study that. And then finally, sewer. I know that, you know, the sewer bill is something that's a sore spot. I'm in that office, in the tax office. I hear all the phone calls about the bedrooms and all that. We just haven't had the capability to do it any other way. We're putting some systems in place in 2026 that, will give us some different options for how we approach sewer billing, and possibly putting together a utility might be something we want to pursue. And then, in coordination with our cash management and our debt management plan, roll out a comprehensive multi-year capital plan that addresses infrastructure, buildings, roads, parks, equipment, and vehicles. It's been done in the past, but I think the piece that's always been missing is the debt management. So when you sort of can work in the confines of the debt management, it makes these capital plans more realistic rather than just throwing everything that you want at it. We have to be strategic because we have to sort of live within our means. And so we just had a meeting today where we addressed some of the department heads. And we're working on this for, this multi-year plan as part of our 2026 budget. That's all I have, Council President. I didn't want to take up too much time. And if Madam Clerk wants to open up the public hearing on the introduced budget, she can.
Yeah, before we do that, thank you very much, Mr. Titiniak. I just need a clarification because I don't have all my budget books with me, as we had quite a few from when we first received the budget in April. Then we had a few versions of the budget. I have two, and the July 22nd one. So in the beginning of the statement on the first slide, it said that the amount of taxes due from the average homeowner was $99.04. Was that after we made a series of cuts, and that's what we introduced? Because we started out at $277
Right,
to the taxpayer.
right. So
Okay,
yeah, I just talked about the introduced because that's what the hearing is on, but
sure.
so if we go back to April,
Yeah, we had a 6% budget increase. I just don't want the taxpayers to think, what were they doing all summer? Are they crazy that
right,
we,
so we
sat
started
here
off,
for $99?
we started off with a $261
Yeah.
increase. That was $243 on
Plus the
municipal
library.
operations and $18 on the library. We can't influence the library number. It's been
Absolutely.
$18 since the start. So yeah, we started this process back in April at $261 on the average home. And then we got it down collectively, administration working with the governing body to the $99 I reference here. And then we had more budget hearings during the summer after the introduction. And that's what's leading to this amendment to reduce it even further.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I know all our hard work from April to June. I didn't want that to go unnoticed. Also, just a quick question on budget driver and, we had, and I just want folks to understand this because I know they're going to get up to the podium. So we had 2 years worth of increases because of the last negotiation that we did with our contracts. And I had asked you this a while ago. I just want them to understand it. There should have been an increase calculated in last year's budget, but the former CFO didn't have that in there. So I just wanted you to explain that, how this year we got like double charged because of the timing of when the negotiation hit.
Yeah, so and it frequently happens where the contract term runs out and the collective bargaining units are out of contract. So they're not getting a cost of living increase. So that's what 2024 was. The contracts had ended at the end of 2023. We were negotiating in 2024. But for budgetary purposes, there wasn't an increase factored into that 2024 budget that contemplated settling the contract for that year. Of course, we ended up settling the contract with an increase in 2024. We did our best to mitigate it, but it was an increase nonetheless. So 2025 had to incorporate essentially 2 years of increases.
And moving forward, that calculation should somewhat, oh, you never know the exact amount, but that money should have been there because you have to account for that.
Yeah, I mean, it should be noted. I mean, sometimes you don't really want to show your hand. if you're
Yeah, no, I
actively
get it. But you gotta
negotiating,
have it in your
saying,
pocket.
Well, I put 3% in there for you guys, because then they're going to say, well, we want at least 3%. But yeah,
Okay.
we should have worked something more into that 2024 budget, but again, it's difficult to predict. It could have been zeros for 2024, and then,
Sure.
that would have been the smart play to not overload the budget. So it's a difficult situation, and I don't want a Monday morning quarterback it too much, but that's just the reality of it. We had to put 2 years in.
Understandable. I just want to hit at those points before I ask the public to come up, and then my colleagues will get a chance to ask multiple questions after the public speaks. But I just want the public to note that there will be a presentation on debt and finance with our debt plan in the near future when Council President Kukoviac returns. So we need to schedule that and for a special meeting. So I just wanted to note that. So if there's any question, there will be a thorough presentation on that in the near future. With that, Madam Clerk, if you could read the rules and regs for the hearing, please.
Okay. This is the time fixed for the public hearing on the municipal budget and tax resolution for 2025. The budget was introduced on first reading by the Township Council on July 22nd, 2025, and was advertised as required on July 24th, 2025. Councilwoman Rudin,
Here.
Councilwoman Scarpa,
Present.
Councilwoman Castellino.
Present.
Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desiring to be heard will rise and give his or her name and address before speaking. The chair will recognize one speaker at a time in the order of rising as nearly as they can determine. Address all questions to the chair. Where necessary, they will be referred to individual members of the governing body or municipal officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget before us. School or county matters are not proper subjects of this hearing and cannot be discussed or answered here tonight. Is there a motion to open the public hearing on the municipal budget and tax resolution of 2025?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa,
Yes.
Council President Castellino.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All set?
All set.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. So I'm gonna just remind folks that this is for budget hearing only. If you were here for any other public comment, we will be accepting that after we close out the budget hearing. And also, if you're coming to the podium and if you're referencing one of our budget booklet, if you could please note the page and the category that you're referencing so our CFO can answer you accordingly if that's what you wish to do. With that being said, would anyone like to come up to the podium to ask any questions for the public hearing on the 2025 introduced budget? Okay, Ms. Lefkowitz? Okay. And 5 minutes, correct?
Correct, yes.
5 minutes, please, if you could stick to the 5 minutes.
Sheila Lefkowitz, 703 Pleasant Valley Way. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank this town council and to the Citizens Budget Advisory Board for all the hard work that you did to help our town live within its means by putting together a municipal budget that we can be proud of. While the savings to taxpayers in this municipal budget might be slightly south of $200 per the average West Orange taxpayer, it will be refreshing for West Orange taxpayers to have that money still in their pockets. Think about our increased think about our increased school taxes. That was about $263 for the average West Orange taxpayer out of the pocket. Our increased sewer tax, increases in electric bills, increases in food prices, increases in car insurance, increases in college tuitions, increases in healthcare premiums, increased costs in home maintenance. If the West Orange Town Council and the Citizens Budget Advisory Board can work together to fix runaway spending, it proves that any other town can do the same. Congratulations on being an example to other towns and school boards to look up to when they seek to live within their means instead of unnecessarily shifting the financial burden to the taxpayer. Thank you. Kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Bennett?
Council, Michaela Bennett, Old Indian Road. So as a member of the Citizen Budget Advisory Board, I will tell you that it was a pleasure serving the community in that capacity and working alongside of all of you in addressing a budget that was filled with opportunities to cost save. I will say I was a little surprised to hear the final number since I attended every budget workshop and I'm fairly certain we were down to approximately $47, maybe under. And I know that there were an additional $200,000 or $300,000 cut. So that math is not mathing. I would hope that you would get to the bottom of how that occurred and address a lot of the fake news around the process. We certainly did have a number of workshops, but those workshops were very productive in that without cutting services and without cutting salaries, you had the opportunity to save every taxpayer significant amounts of money. I think the goal, our goal, was to make sure that if there was a tax increase, that it was the minimum possible. And I think that some more than others worked tirelessly or effortlessly, but we all worked together. Now, I will tell you, I'm not speaking on behalf of the Citizen Budget Advisory Board, but it was a really pleasant process. Every person that you each selected was wonderful to work with. We each brought a different set of talents, and I think we did a really nice job of working collaboratively and providing you with some real tangible ways in which you could cost save for the community. So I thank you for taking those recommendations and all your efforts, but I would ask that you get to the bottom of why we are not under $40 per average household and why that number has increased again to about $99. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. And thank you to the committee for all their hard work. We spent many, many hours over the summer months. Would anyone else from the public like to speak at the public hearing? With that being said, sorry, Madam Clerk,
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to
I'll
close the
second.
public hearing.
Okay. Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa,
Yes.
Council President Castellino.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to ask Mr. Detiniak if he could please address the question about $47. Did you say 2301? I heard 2301 also.
We're at 40, well, with the amendment, it's $47.
Okay, so tonight it's with the amendment or?
The amendment, the total municipal, so local tax and library tax is $47.99.
I
That,
heard,
that includes the library?
Yeah,
Okay,
Oh, okay.
without taking out the library, what is it?
$29.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
That's the
thank
number
you.
we're-
So that's the number we
Yeah, okay.
went down
Okay.
from. And I think it's really important that the
Excuse me, Count-
taxpayers know that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
no, that's okay. I just,
Yeah, so
let's speak at one time.
strictly local tax not including the library, would be $29.75 with the amendment.
Okay, thank you, because we thought we heard in the twenties at the last budget hearing and, I'm sorry, budget workshop. So that is refreshing to hear. We're still in the twenties. So thank you to all. And right now I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have questions or a statement to make. I'll start with Councilwoman Rudin.
No, I'm just glad that we're almost there. It was a lot of fun, I have to say. I think that, you know, we're all learning. This is not my money. This is not, you know, the council's money. It's not the mayor's money. It's not the administration's money. It's your money. And we need to be responsive and responsible to you. And I think that finding out and digging in and, you know, we had the grace of unfortunately doing this late because the budget was delivered to us late, that we were able to see where people were in the process and how much they had actually spent and to try and tie those accounts to real spending. So I think that, you know, I'm really proud of the work that we did collaboratively, and I hope to keep shining a light on how your money is being spent and try to always keep in mind that this is real money to you. Like Ms. Lefkowitz said, it's money in your pocket. We should never take that for granted. And these expenses need to be thought through very carefully and examined. So I'm really happy to be almost done with my first budget cycle. And I'm glad that we were able to achieve really quite a significant drop from more than 6% to just barely over 1%. Not even 1%, 0.5%.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Scarpa.
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Detiniak. His leadership has really been refreshing. I've been through a couple budget cycles already, but he has been spent so much time with us answering our questions, explaining many things that appeared to be more complex than they had to be in the past, and has made this more understandable and more workable for all of us. And so thank you so much, Mr. Detiniak. I know how many hours and how excruciating this has been, especially in a politically charged environment. And he has handled himself. I am so impressed with the way he has handled himself. Thank you so much. I want to say to the Citizens Budget Advisory Board, thank you for all your hard work. I know how much time and effort you put into this, but I want to warn you that this is a work in progress. With our new ordinance, you are going to be an invaluable resource for us throughout the entire year. And so the public should understand that. As Councilwoman Rudin said, we take the management of your tax dollars very seriously. And Councilman Kukoviac had reworked the ordinance for us so that the Citizens Budget Advisory Board is not just going to be working with us at budget season, but we are going to be looking to streamline our operations throughout the year. So thank you so much for all your hard work.
Done, Councilwoman? Thank you, Councilwoman. Yeah, you know, I just want to thank everyone involved. We're almost there. A lot of time was spent, but I have to really thank the staff because this was very stressful on our staff. And Mr. Detiniak, you came in, you walked into circumstances that, you know, in other positions you may not have walked into. And we appreciate all the effort and time you put in, and same with Mr. Smeraldo and the rest of the staff. The directors really was tough on them because they came, they were present, lots of questions. But, you know, we're all learning to, I know, Mayor, I know it wasn't easy for you either. You know, but, you know, we're all learning and going to have a new process, new systems coming in, which I think is going to help with the way we do things in the future, and we all get automated. You know, we went from a little town to turning it to a city here. So there's a lot on the plate, and it's important that we keep the taxes down. Thank you to our two speakers tonight, because you couldn't have said it better. But, you know, we didn't touch services. We didn't, you know, the raises went through, so we had our salaries increases. And most importantly, we did not touch programming, and that was key. But we did have the benefit, we were able to get it down, which isn't a good practice to be late, because we had an estimated third quarter tax bill, which we cannot do next year. And we need to make sure we get the tax done earlier. But what really was a benefit, that we were able to see what was actually spent. And we were able to, you know, been able to take from there to make some cuts. So that was instrumental in this process. With that being said, I just a couple quick housekeeping items before we move on. But the amendment presentation itself, that will be on October 16th, correct?
Right.
And what do we expect for that?
We're gonna have
how's that
another
gonna work?
public hearing on the amendment, and then we'll adopt the budget as amended. We'll adopt the resolution and then the budget as amended.
And then as far as the amendment itself, if I recall this correctly, do you have to go down each one individually? I'm just trying to, how to budget time for the next meeting.
It's just a resolution, and we'll have another public hearing just on that resolution. But
Okay.
It's laid out, you know, in the format of the budget and the changes, the from and to, so be very clear what's been reduced and
Okay, so if anyone wants to comment on any of the amendments only, they could.
on the amendment only. Yeah.
Okay, on the amendment only. Okay, that's important to know.
I don't think it's required to be read, but
What was the question, Madam Clerk?
Is it required to be read in
So
full?
that's what I remember,
Yeah,
sitting
me
here and line by line. So we could just double check and let,
we'll read it if that's the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
again, just
I
budgeting
just-
time, because I know
yeah.
one of the PAL teams didn't come in last time. They want to come in next. I just got a budget time, make sure we,
Yeah, and
you know,
also
Council President Kukoviac could deal with that.
October 16th is a Thursday.
Is it and
And I'll put
Thursday?
that highlighted on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, and then my next question is capital budget. So we have not had a capital budget in almost 2 years now. I just wanted to know, you know, we're gonna have, trying to get my colleagues together with the administration for a BDA a meeting update. And that's gonna require, we're gonna need capital for, you know, some expenditures that we need to do to move Public Works out of their current situation into one of our other sites. And there's a lot going on there. So when do you anticipate presenting us with a capital budget this year?
So, I mean, we did 7 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
On all the road projects and grant projects that required, you know, an outlay of our own cash. So yeah, I think, you know, we need to discuss it so that we don't put something up that's gonna get rejected. But, you know, we'll certainly work together to come up with the major items that we need. Because again, and I talked about sort of living within that framework of the debt management plan, so we sort of have 2 years that we didn't do capital. Like I said, we did 7 million already this year. So we can talk about it and see when the right meeting is to introduce it. And we could do bond ordinances every meeting. Okay. You know, we have that flexibility. It doesn't have to be at
One
set
big
point.
ticket item.
Yeah, and we could do small stuff.
Okay, so as soon as Council President comes back, you know, looking forward to the administration on picking a date with my colleagues that we can sit down to, you know, get that, you
Yeah,
know,
and we'll talk.
plan going, so we could, you know, we can't, you know, we can't authorize money without knowing what that money is going to be. But
Sure.
I know it's important. I know, you know, the mayor had stressed that at this BDA meeting.
Yeah.
We're going to need capital.
And we have to
plan.
prioritize, you know, those capital requests, obviously, you know, environmental cleanup is a major ticket item, but you know, replenishing the fleet, I think, is on the top of everyone's list. So we'll prioritize our requests and figure it out together.
Okay, you could, just let us know before the end of the year, or would it go into 2020?
We have 5 meetings left, I guess. We might be able to get to it by the end of the year. Sure.
Okay, especially because I know we need to move public works sooner than later. I know it's for those Lakeside Avenue properties, it's red alert time, so we need a plan. All right, thank you.
Council President, the budget amendment does have to be read in full.
It does.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll let Council President Kukoviac know that
Mhm.
information.
Council President, just to add to Mr. Detiniak, one of the priorities of our directors is that we desperately need to get vehicles. So that's something that's also going to be a priority we have to discuss. I did not want it to be a surprise. I just want to
No,
make
that's
sure.
okay.
But vehicles is definitely, particularly for the emergency services and the inspectors.
And the radio cars.
The radio cars, we're behind in schedule. So that's going to be a priority.
Okay,
So.
very good. Mayor, do you have anything to add?
Well, 2 things. I wanted to say that I commend you for the work that you did on the budget and thanking John for his tireless efforts and his patience, a lot of patience.
I think I lost my page.
A couple times, but uncharacteristic of you, but a couple times. And to all the directors, just for their
Yeah.
cooperation and their patience as well. And about this capital budget, also, you keep talking about the brownfields, so we do have it at brownfields. We have been awarded by DEP for a BDA, Brownfield Development Area on Lakeside Avenue. We have been moving along with that with a steady team, people in the administration, engineer, of course, and also with Matrix Development for the movie production studios, because we have 22 acres back there that we do need to remediate and move public works. I wanted to mention, you were listing different things that have the priority. I think one of the priorities is just yesterday when we saw that parking study. If we're not going to do the entire package, then we look at what the priority is in that package and put that forward as well. Because I think that was urgent. We heard from the people last night doing the feasibility parking study. And there were so many positives in that study that could help residents in their parking and our traffic. So that should be something on our list too. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think, a few of us will agree with that because, we'll create revenue, especially from the parking lots. And, if we could have that broken out, the pricing on what the dynamic traffic is going to present to us. I know everything feasibly can't be presented all at once, but if it could, what would that look like and how much would that cost? I think all the council ever asked for is great communication, let us know ahead of time, and just give us the presentation so we could absorb it and look at it and to make sure the numbers work.
Council President, a lot of those numbers are already embedded
Yeah.
into that study, which is online.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're in there so the public can see what the costs are and everything else. So they're in there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smiralda. Appreciate that. Okay, Madam Clerk, we're ready to move forward.
Yes, do you want to do public comment now?
For all, then we have to close anything out, right? We're done.
We're
Closing out
done
the
with-
public hearing. Okay, yes, public comment, please.
Okay. So you can,
Okay,
Yeah.
ready? Okay, so I'm going to ask folks if you'd like to come up, if you have anything for public comment, you have 5 minutes at the podium. I ask you to be respectful of the time. And with that being said, we're going to have Mr. Fagan come up first. And don't forget your name and address, except for you, Mr. Fagan. We know where to find you.
You know where to find me. Thank you, Acting Council President. Welcome, everyone, to the Township Council meeting, the first meeting of fall. It's hard to believe. It was mentioned that 5 meetings are left and fall is upon us. And just today, we posted on the website our leaf collection procedure for 2025. And this also includes Essex County roads. And let me clarify that. Some residents, their house is on a county road, and there's a different schedule from the DPW schedule in terms of pickup to the Essex County schedule. This information is on our website. Also, this week is Yom Kippur 2025, so we wish all our Jewish friends and neighbors to have a meaningful feast. And with that said, the 2 a.m. to fast. Sometimes I intentionally make a mistake just to see if everyone's paying attention. Thank you for the correction. 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. parking ordinances have been rescinded for Yom Kippur from October 1st, from 6 p.m. on October 1st to 6 a.m. on October 3rd. However, all other West Orange Township and New Jersey statutes remain in effect. And we're also going to be rescinding parking ordinances for Sukkot. Did I say that correctly? Sukkot. And that's from 6 p.m. on October 6th to 6 a.m. on October 16th. This information is on our website. Of course, September 15th, October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month. This has been mentioned. And on the, there's a lot of Hispanic heritage events in West Orange. You can go to West Orange Hispanic Foundation at gmail.com. This information is posted on social media. The West Orange Fire Department is having their annual open house October 5th. You can find details at westorange.org. I believe the focus this year is going to be a very important topic. Of course, all topics are important, but with specific focus on lithium-ion batteries in your home. That's an increasing problem, so I'm sure that there will be many helpful safety features tested there. And also, speaking of our fire department, it was announced this past week that the West Orange Fire Department was awarded a FEMA grant, Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program, and this will be used to purchase safety equipment, help serve the residents of West Orange. West Orange Shredding Day, I've been mentioning this for a while, so you can get prepared. Your documents, details about this are on our website, October 5th. And Mr. Puglisi from the county is not here tonight, but they have two programs also coming up, and West Orange residents should be aware of these programs because they're important. This information is posted on our website, and that's household hazardous waste and computer electronics, Saturday, October 4th and October 18th. As I said, you can read these on our website, and there's important details there that you need to pay attention to. Last Saturday, Mayor McCartney received a NIA Purpose Partnership Exemplary Award from NIA Fellowship Baptist Church. Now, that church is located in the valley here on Valley Road, and it's kind of a forgotten place, but they've been in the community. The church building has been in the community, I believe, for 90-something years, and they will, not this congregation, but the building itself, and they presented mayor with this award. And it was pointed out by Pastor Platt that the mayor has a long record dating back to when she was a councilwoman. And that added to the awarding of this recognition. And I also should point out Council President Kukoviac was there, as well as myself, and Pastor Platt also recognized us both, not with awards, but with our contributions to the mission of Neo Fellowship Baptist Church. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Of course, you see the pink ribbon on the podium here. And the key to breast cancer awareness is early detections saves lives. That can't be stressed enough. And there are two programs coming up in October, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, actually, the Pink Warriors are returning to West Orange Town Hall, 3:30 p.m. I believe this is their second annual. They may have been here in the past, but two that I'm aware of. And later this month, Pink Shields of Hope. Officer Mango, West Orange Police Department, is running this. This is October 24th, and this information can be found on our social media. This weekend, West Orange High School Marching Band Invitational. There's going to be a higher noise volume, traffic, and parking congestion expected between 2 to 10 p.m. In the area of the high school. Residents in that area should be aware of what's going on at the high school. Mayor McCartney's open office hours, October 2nd, 6 to 8 p.m. Certainly no appointment necessary. And the council connection has their next open office hour is Thursday, October 30th. I will mention this again at the October 16th meeting. Also, as announced this past week that Mayor McCartney to honor former Township Planner Susan Borg for 24 years of service, the Ridgeway Park is going to be officially named in her honor. This was set out to the press, and press picked up on this, and this is a well-deserved recognition for Susan Borg. Now, at the beginning of the program, we honored the West Orange Mustangs and their accomplishments. And I just thought that it would be appropriate if I added some brief historical perspective to that. And that is that West Orange PAL was founded in 1962, and the first sport was football. And so they've been serving the community for over 62 years. And that's me. I was on the PAL football team, not in 1962. Yes, I know. I look very mean for a quarterback. But yeah, I was participating in football, and baseball was added in 1965, just a few years later, and the field was donated by Mrs. Freeman, who of Llewellyn Park, whose property borders the field, and I also participated in West Orange PAL baseball, and that bat was not given to me by Babe Ruth. But I will say that Kate Davenport, who works here in Town Hall, I played with her father on the same team. And also, finally, I want to mention that you may recall at the end of July, there was a big, the world descended on West Orange for the David Cassidy marker celebration at Colgate Field, dedication, I should say. And this is Katie Cassidy, David Cassidy's daughter, and she read a speech from Sean Cassidy, her uncle, David Cassidy's brother, and he did say that he would return to West Orange and proudly walk down David Cassidy Way when he was in New Jersey this fall. And true to his promise, he did show up in West Orange and took this picture, and he also came into Town Hall. Now, the women of Town Hall were sweating this 1970s pop idol. Now, as a courtesy, I also decided to swoon. And Sean Cassidy did not get mad when I mistakenly called him Barry Manilow. But no, in all seriousness, he was a real nice guy, very engaging, and we all enjoyed his visit here in Town Hall. And Council President, you mentioned that there were some ribbon cuttings, and I do not have, I'm sorry to say, any pictures for them, but perhaps we can present them at a later date. And I believe that is my report for tonight. Mr. Puglisi is not here, but you can get his information is here. You have any questions, you can reach out to him. Thank you for your indulgence, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Fagan. And did you sing Do Run Run to Mr. Cassidy when he visited?
As I say, I thought he was Barry Manilow, so I didn't know that song.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come speak at the podium? Former councilman?
Good evening, Herb Waldman, 18 Connell Drive. I watched the last council meeting with great interest. You voted to place an ordinance on the next agenda that would remove the West Essex Highlands exemption from the town environmental regulations. That's the way our town ordinance says you must proceed. If a majority votes to bring an issue forward in the form of an ordinance, it goes on the agenda. That's the way representative democracy is supposed to work. I thought this council might take action, but here we are more than 3 weeks later, and it's not on the agenda. What happened? Does the earlier vote mean nothing? Can the presiding officer disregard it? What happened was that instead of the West Essex Highlands attorney threatening you again, the town attorney did his dirty work for him. The law department refused to prepare the proposed ordinance. The council is being misled and intimidated. Why are you still letting the legal department push you around? You are the client here. I know that a lawyer can advise his client, but it's ultimately the client's decision on how to proceed. The town attorney has not been attending council meetings. However, a local firm has been sending an associate in his place, and he has been your de facto attorney. You could have directed that firm to prepare the ordinance, but you didn't, so I wondered why. Are you intimidated by the threat of a lawsuit? There is going to be a lawsuit over this project. The group opposing the West Essex Highlands development has already filed suit, naming the township as a defendant. And it's clear that whoever loses before the planning board will go to court. A lawsuit involving the town is not speculation. It is not only inevitable, it has already happened. I haven't met anyone, including members of the council, who is happy with the development, who thinks it's okay for the developer to unilaterally change the plan that had been agreed on, or who thinks the development should be exempt from environmental regulations that are binding on every other property in town. The developer has violated the settlement agreement. Is that okay with you? If not, what are you going to do about it? What has the legal department told you can do about it? Councilwoman Castellino, you were the only member present on the council who voted for the settlement agreement and rezoning the property. At that time, you said you wanted to protect the ridge. The town attorney told you that protecting the ridge was the #1 priority. Do you still believe that? When the town's environmental compliance officer assured the council that the town had environmental regulations to protect the property, the town attorney, who was there, didn't mention that the settlement you were being asked to approve would make this property exempt from those regulations. The developer is now proposing to build on the ridge. What are you going to do about it? Are you succumbing, all of you, to the threat from the developer's attorney and the town attorney? I can understand that because so is a lawyer. The threat of a lawsuit can be intimidating. But since you can't personally be sued, I'm not sure what you were worried about. In recent years, the law department has had some notable and expensive losses in court. One resident twice successfully sued the town regarding the designation of first Essex Green and then the library as areas in need of redevelopment. He also won a case against the town for withholding documents under Oprah. Paul Trachtenberg won an Oprah case regarding the West Essex Highlands property, in which the town had to pay his legal fees of $70,000 in addition to whatever the town attorney was paid. What did all these cases have in common, besides the fact that the town lost them? They were all about land development. Do you not see a pattern? I spoke about the West Essex Highlands development with someone in town recently who told me, I'm not a lawyer, but something stinks. How long will it be before you realize what's going on and demonstrate the independence and leadership to put a stop to it? Instead of politely thanking people for bringing these issues to your attention and giving responses to those appearing before the council that make you appear supportive and made the developer's attorney so angry that he wrote you letters, you have the opportunity to actually do something about it. Will you do it? If not, would you please explain why? In this country, we are living through a time in which the law is being perverted and the legislative branch lacks the courage to stand up and demand that it stop. In our own small way, we are going through a similar situation in West Orange. You were elected to represent us, the citizens of West Orange. The town attorney was not on the ballot. I think I speak for a lot of people in town who want to trust you. Ask you to show some courage. It's the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would anyone else like to speak? One more Councilwoman Williams?
Ron coming up. Tammy Williams, Buckingham. Good evening. My name is Tammy Williams, and I am proud to stand before you as the founder of the West Orange Stop Suicide Advocacy Coalition, or Wolfsack Foundation. Our mission is simple but vital: to save the lives here in West Orange through education, advocacy, and strong community partnerships. Let me begin with why this work matters. In 2018, West Orange reported 4 suicides and 50 suicide attempts. 4 families devastated, 50 cries for help. Each one rippled through our schools, our neighborhoods, and our community. I knew this was something we could not ignore. Since 2019, stakeholders came to develop and formulate WOSAC, which stepped into that gap. I am so proud to share that both suicides and attempts have declined since we began. Our advocacy, our programs, and our partnerships are not just raising awareness, they are saving lives. How do we do it? We build partnerships. With Cooperman Barnabas Medical Center, we provide free screenings and health services and bring professional workshops to those on the front lines. With the Mental Health Association of Essex and Morris, we bring professional workshops to those on the front lines. With programs for parents, we provide Christmas giveaways, support local resources, and provide workshops for families in need. With the West Orange Arts Council and Luna Stage, we use art, theater, and film to spark conversations about mental health. With the Grassroots Community Foundation, we reach our schools through Green Ribbon Week and mental health wellness strategies for our youth. And with the West Orange Police Department, we began this work, and through advocacy and awareness efforts in 2020, West Orange received a pilot ride-along program where licensed clinicians respond with officers to mental health crisis calls. That program started right here in West Orange, and it has now become the model program adopted across the state of New Jersey to police mental health and wellness. Education and training are the heart of WOSAC. In 2019, we provided free training for our Board of Education, police, and fire department staff. Since then, we've continued hosting workshops for professionals and community members. And our awareness campaigns in schools and public forums make sure that residents know that they are not alone and that help is always available. We also believe in creating spaces for community connection. Every year, we host the WOSAC 5K Walk Run, a time to honor lives lost, support survivors, and raise awareness. We launched the Health and Wellness Summit, which gave free eye exams and glasses to over 100 students in need. We partnered with the Juneteenth Film Festival, highlighting the mental health struggles in communities of color. And through our Zero Suicide campaign, we are breaking stigma, sharing resources, and changing how our community talks about suicide. From September 2024 to today, our township has lowered the suicide incidence even further. One life is one life too many, but I am very, very pleased to report that we have only had 2 suicides since September of 2024 to today. These numbers tell a powerful story. The need is great, but prevention and awareness works. Losing just one life is one life too many, but together we are reducing risk, connecting people to help, and saving lives. But this is more than numbers or programs. Suicide does not end pain. It transfers pain to families, to friends, to our whole community. By investing in prevention, we not only save lives, but we reduce emergency costs, support families, and build a healthier, more resilient West Orange. WOSAC is proof that when a community comes together, change happens. I hope each of you are aware that on Friday, October 3rd, we will be hosting our 6th Run for WOSAC. Please join us. Ceremonies begin at 4 p.m. It is open to everyone. You can run, walk, volunteer, or just show up to support. Together, we can erase the stigma and end suicide. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your efforts. Would anyone else like to speak? Okay. Sorry about that, Ms. Ben, I forgot. We had
Michaela Bennett, Old Indian Road. So I think I'd like to focus first on 2938-25. It says an ordinance amending chapter 3, section 17.1 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange. How is anybody supposed to know what that is about? I mean, I happened to look it up, sitting over there, and it's, I'm sure not coincidence that, it relates to who can draft an ordinance and whether or not an attorney, township attorney should have access to drafting, or only a township attorney can draft an ordinance. After listening to, the prior speaker, discussing the fact that there was supposed to be, or there was expected to be, an ordinance on the agenda tonight. So first, my comment would be that any person who picks up the agenda should be able to understand what each ordinance is about. You can see the other two ordinance on first reading at least have a brief descriptor, so hopefully that could be corrected. A better practice would be making available the proposed ordinances. I recognize, there's a balance between printing and not printing too many, but you could at least have a couple up on the table for review. I believe it was August 22nd when Mayor McCartney announced herself to be the interim business administrator. I think we are more than halfway through her 60-day interim term. I don't know if a posting has been made for a permanent business administrator, and I don't know how long this township has been working in this cobbled together scenario of interim business administrator. But I'd like to remind this council that December 1st, you will have to, or you will not have a police chief. If you're sticking to a 60-day term, Mayor McCartney can no longer be the interim business administrator as of, I don't know, October 21st. I think that's right. I don't know, my math may be off, 60 days. And we really should do away with the practice of interim business administrator and really focus on having somebody permanent, somebody qualified, and somebody who's been vetted through a fair and competitive practice, instead of handing it off to friends, cronies, and questionably qualified individuals. I would like to point out that when the mayor appointed herself as the business administrator, I believe she did not step down from being the director of a preschool in town. She happens to be the director of a preschool in town and the teacher at that preschool of the township schools paid preschool program. I don't know how you do both. I happen to be down here at Town Hall when Mayor McCartney, interim business administrator McCartney, director of First Mountain Preschool McCartney, and preschool teacher McCartney was here. If she's here, she's not there. The conflicts of interest in being a mayor, a business administrator, a preschool director, and a teacher, the conflicts of interest can't be in two places at once. It's really interesting. I was interviewing a candidate for the vacant council position, and that candidate said, "You can't do that." Not realizing that you were already doing it.
Ms. Bennett, if you,
Sorry.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I apologize. You're right. I should be addressing you. I apologize. It's when the mayor scoffed, I really wasn't looking at anybody, but once the mayor scoffed and at my comments, I decided to
Okay.
acknowledge that. I
Yeah.
understood. The other thing I'd like to point out is if the police chief is out on terminal leave, turn in his vehicle. Stop taking township gas, please. I mean, really, enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Okay, with that being said, I'm going to close public comment. Okay, so I am going to go to Yes, our attorney, were there any conflicts mentioned this evening that you heard from any of our speakers in regards to?
Conflict?
Yeah, well, there was with the mayor with her position as the business administrator.
No, not that I would opine on now. I didn't hear anything that needs to be addressed.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask administration if they have any comments first before I turn it over to my colleagues. No? No? Okay. Councilwoman Rudin.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. And thank you to how many people are on with us? Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. So we're like over in attendance this week. Mr. Waldman, your speech was absolutely brilliant. And I agree with everything you just said. I have been working, I guess, for weeks to try and get the ordinance that was proposed to eliminate to reverse the complete environmental exemptions from the West Essex Highlands on this agenda. I have presented it to the council president, who is not here. I have discussed it under new matters. The process should have been followed. It should have been gone. It should have been taken from new matters by the township clerk straight to put it in any sort of legal form that is necessary, even though it was already done, and get it on our agenda. Why it's not here is just complete obstructionism. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know, baffled by the amount of obstructionism that is going on here. When a council person presents an ordinance, it goes through new reading, it should be presented at first reading at the next time. And I'm not sure why that is being blocked. And I'd really like that process to stop. We are here to legislate. We are here to move policy. You guys might not agree with everything that we're doing, but that is what we're here. We're here to move policy along. I would like to see this on the next agenda. We've already discussed it in new business several times. I want to see it on the agenda. I don't think that we should be intimidated by lawsuits. Obviously, they're coming. We're dealing with a very litigious developer who will stop at nothing, but we have to stand up as council people and do what's right to protect our larger community. So I'm just going to ask once again that this be put onto the agenda for first reading for the next council meeting.
Finished your comments? Yeah, thank you.
Some of the issues that Ms. Bennett addressed in terms of multiple jobs going out to the same person and how these jobs are being adequately done is also baffling. Frankly, I don't know how you have several full-time positions, and many people on our staff, or some of them, have multiple full-time positions, and that is not a practice that is allowed in our handbook, and policy is not being stopped. Policy is not being enforced to stop these practices. And yeah, I think that there are a number of things, a number of ways that we could save money so that we could move towards buying the big investment vehicles that we need. All of the personal vehicles that have been called out so many times need to come back. We should not be handing out personal vehicles, full-time gas, full-time Easy Pass, full-time insurance to members of our staff. They need to drive here, use a municipal car when they are here, leave it here and go home in their own car. Why our police chief is still using a municipal car when he has been out sick since May 15th, except for a little interlude when he went to a conference in Atlantic City. I don't know why that car isn't here, and I don't know why you, Madam Mayor, do not call for that car to be back here. He is on sick leave. The car should be back here. Ms. Williams, the cause that you champion is extraordinarily important. However, you did fail to mention that you take a salary from the charity that you are promoting and that you have been successful with. And you also failed to mention that instead of renting the facility at Rock Spring, which is what we would want our residents to do, to rent the facility, you are offering a contribution. And is that contribution coming from your 60,000 developer-backed war chest that you had from your prior campaign, and you're also fundraising again for this campaign? So I'd really like you to address how you failed to mention those two issues. The developers who are backing your campaign are the same developers, I'm sorry, who are seeking to pave over our town. So I think that was an omission. However, I totally support your work and your cause, but I think that those things should have been said. Finally, I'm really happy to hear that Susan Borg was honored with a park named after her. She truly deserves this recognition, and we should honor her legacy. But the most meaningful tribute to her legacy would be hiring a full-time, high-level in-house planner to help guide us out of our affordable house crisis. That's the kind of action that Ms. Borg would have championed.
Through the chair,
Uh,
I'd like to make a comment in response to what Councilwoman Rudin mentioned. There were several statements that she made that I want to take issue with and clarify. So there was a comment from the public regarding the proposed ordinance, which would seek to impact the West Essex Highlands pending application. And I want to point out that your existing town attorney, which is Mr. Trank, wrote a legal opinion that was provided to all the council members on September 22nd that reiterated that the proposed ordinance could specifically create a problem with a settlement agreement that was previously executed by this body, not the individuals here, but the council regarding the project. And that opinion was issued on September 22nd and provided to the council. My office received that, and we had a discussion, you, myself, and the acting council president, about the issue. And I advised that we would specifically look into the ordinance and the request that was made regarding amending the ordinance concerning steep slopes to determine what that impact would be on the settlement agreement. I take issue with many of the things you said because litigation is a serious issue. It's not something to take lightly and say, we welcome litigation or we encourage what might come, and because there's a significant cost and peril, not only in dollars, but potentially with respect to the impact on the people of this town. So I don't think it's something to take lightly with respect to litigation. The process around passing ordinances is very critical and important and a serious endeavor. And it's not something to take lightly that council folks who generate ordinances should have those ordinances read verbatim without changes or review by legal counsel or the administration who you hired and are experts in the field to pass those ordinances without the appropriate review. And that was something we discussed. And I think it's important to reiterate in the public that it is unheard of in the practice of representing public entities and how well-run municipalities are run, that ordinances are generated by council members and then could be read and on first reading and second reading without any input, approval, changes, corrections by your legal counsel or your professionals that are here. That is absolutely not the best practice, and I recommend against that. I welcome ordinance ideas. We want to change this, we want to change that. It should go to legal for review and get the administration's input. Then that comes back, but it may not be the ordinance that you want. It may be a response that, hey, this is a terrible idea. This is going to cost us millions. We don't have the capacity to approve this, or we don't have the capacity to effectuate it. This could cause litigation. This could cause numerous issues for us. So I think it's imperative that this body listen to what I'm saying, because you have to have a process for it. That doesn't mean that you won't get to where you want to be, but you must respect the process that I have an idea. We'd like to impact this West Essex Highlands project in this way. Great. Here's the issues. Here's what I want to accomplish. Your legal counsel, along with your administration, will review and provide a draft of something if it's appropriate. It may not be at the next meeting. It may be at a subsequent meeting when that work is done. But to say that you pass it from this body and it goes on the next meeting automatically, while you may have the power to do that, I absolutely would recommend against that, because you could be putting the town at risk by passing an ordinance without the benefit of the professionals that you've hired weighing in on that. So I just wanted to give that feedback. It's a three-step process in every municipality or public body that passes ordinances, bylaws, or policies. The idea comes up, the majority agrees we want to do it or not, then it's referred to the professionals to review and provide back either the ordinance or the policy. It's discussed at first reading if it gets through that process, and then it goes to second reading. That may not be in 3 meetings, but that's the process, and it can take 3 steps. And I wanted to make sure I was clear about that, and that's something that we talked about, and I wanted to reiterate. Now, back to the West Essex Highlands application. There is a settlement agreement that is a public document. Once a settlement is approved by a public body, it becomes a public document. That settlement agreement specifically states that with respect to steep slopes, to the extent that any portion of the proposed development as contemplated in this agreement would be restricted or prohibited by the township's steep slope and natural features ordinance, including adequate contiguous area ordinance, the steep slope ordinance shall not apply to the proposed development, which shall be reflected in the zoning amendment. This body agreed to that. If you want to pass an ordinance that impacts this settlement agreement, you should have the benefit of legal counsel's advice as to what impact that might have in that litigation and the town before you go ahead and pass an ordinance. So while I respect the views of West Orange residents and individuals who come to the public and speak on behalf of whatever is important to them, they are speaking based on their interests. And it's important to have your professionals weigh in. So I wanted to make clear that ordinances need to follow this process. And with respect to the steep slope ordinance, there's further review to be done, which we will provide to you as I discussed. But at this point, it would not be appropriate to pass any ordinance that could impact that settlement agreement, the pending application, or the town as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. And just for clarification, Mr. Rivera is our conflict counsel, I guess we could call you, or you want to?
Yes, I'm here as special conflict counsel. As Mr. Trank's office has indicated, they have a conflict and cannot serve in the role to come to the meetings. So that's why we're here. And if there's an issue where there is a conflict, we will review it and provide advice to this body.
And Mr. Woolman, just to answer your question to me, you know, I feel this important, and I want to make sure with the decisions that we are making, and my fiduciary responsibility to this township. This past Friday afternoon, myself and Councilwoman Rudin sat on a call with our council and to vet a few things. So right now, I'm not ready to make a comment about it or a decision. God bless my colleague. She has a more proactive, but I had the benefit of years sitting in with Shirley Bishop and the professionals back then when I still feel forced that we had to sign that resolution to satisfy the court order, or the ordinance rather. And, you know, I'm still working on it, and that's all I'm going to answer for this evening. But I know it's frustrating. The hardest part of this job, and I've learned that in 20 years, 10 years on the school board and 10 years here, the hardest part of this job is to want to give that answer to you. And my colleagues in year one, and she'll see that, you know, that is the toughest part of this job, because you want to move forward on things and you can't yet. And I understand that a little bit more, but hopefully we will be able to in the near future. With that being said, I'm gonna turn this over to Councilwoman Scarpa. Do you have any more, any
Sure.
comments?
Yeah. Mr. Wallman, thank you so much for coming out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of your expertise. I know you are a lawyer as well. And what's frustrating for me is that, you know, lawyers often see things very differently from different points of view. And being a member of the planning board, I have an obligation to seek counsel from our township, which I have. And often I've gotten conflicting information. So it's incredibly difficult position for me to be in because I don't want to have conflict of interest and I don't want to jeopardize any work that I do on the planning board. But I welcome your opinions and your guidance in this area. And I look forward to listening to all of the different points of view. I think that, you know, unfortunately, sometimes the legal counsel that we've had in the past has not been very responsive to the council. So there is some element of ambiguous information being very ambiguous to us. And it is incredibly difficult to sift through it all. So please continue to give us your opinion and the benefit of your expertise. But I feel like because I'm on the planning board, I don't want to say too much. Michaela Bennett, thank you so much for coming out and highlighting a lot of the issues relating to conflicts of interest. I do agree with you on a lot of them. I try to hold myself to the highest ethical standards, and I have done that, and I've led by example. When I've run for council, I took no money from anyone, not even my friends at Our Green West Orange. And I found that I was very glad I did when I had to make that really difficult decision about the support of moving towards the electric from the gas powered blowers, because I was in a position to be able to make a decision that was best for each and every resident of this town. Not only the people who supported me, but the people who didn't support me, who didn't vote for me, and the people who don't vote at all. And that was a real rude awakening for me. And I just wish that we were able to move forward in campaigning and governing without outside influences and conflicts of interest. So to all of our council people who are aspiring, I hope that you will listen to my words because they're very sincere. And I've learned a lot, and I feel very strongly about not only lobbyists in our government, but the conflicts of interest that we've seen for decades here in our township. So thank you very much for continuing to bring it to our attention. And I could not agree with my colleague, Councilwoman Rudin, more by saying how thrilled I am. I've heard so much about Susan Borg over the years, and I think it's wonderful that we're honoring her, but I would like to ask the mayor to really honor her and give us an accomplished full-time planner who could guide us in the right direction and look very strategically at our township as a whole, because I think that's what we haven't done for a long time. And I think it's part of the reason why we're in this mess. I am a business person. I run a business, and I've always taken a very strategic and holistic approach to every decision that I've made. And this is something that our township needs to do moving forward. So with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Council President, I'm sorry if I may just interrupt briefly.
Sure.
I neglected to mention that the dedication ceremony for Susan Borg is on Sunday, October 19th at 1 o'clock at Ridgeway Park. And this information will be posted on our social media. Once again, that's Sunday, October 19th at 1 o'clock p.m. And I pardon the interruption, but I
No,
thought that was.
not at all. Thank you, Mr. Fagan. So I guess, you know, with the comments this evening, listen, we're, if I could say anything about this past year, we're in a transitional phase here in the township. all new processes, moving forward with, if the case ever gets settled with the administration, with a new legal staff, if that ever gets finalized. So there's a lot on the horizon. With that being said, there's been some old past practices. Part of what came out of the budget advisory committees was a recommendation to have a forensic audit, which we agreed to. And I think even the CFO could appreciate just helping find things that, just getting us updated and as we move forward. We'll see what comes from that audit. But, some past practices with vehicles and gas and whatnot, some of these items are contractual, so you're not going to change them. But we will find out what isn't contractual, what's been past practice. So if anyone learns anything, and our attorneys here, a lot of times past practice is hard.
Doesn't mean it's right.
Doesn't mean it's right, but it's been done. And we're going to vet that out. And I do appreciate my colleagues, the time she puts in. She's like a little bulldog, I call her. And because I just don't have that kind of time, and God bless her. But we'll get there. And we're going to get there working together with the administration. And we're going to move forward to a better year that's coming. Because we have to. We have a lot of problems with this affordable housing. It is going to be detrimental to our community. And it's been very frustrating for me personally after all these years with legal advice. And that's been a disappointment for me this year. And so I appreciate the time Mr. Rivera gave to us on Friday, sorting all of this out. And, I'm an optimist. I think we're going to be fine. We just have to work our way there. But with that being said, and talking about planners and, and this is where we have to get a little more organized. Like tonight, and it's my fault because I'm sitting here as council president. We were promised on tonight's meeting a salary ordinance, Mr. Smeraldo, for September 30th. We were promised that salary ordinance that should have been on for first reading for the full-time planner, the code. And I neglected to remind you of it because getting this duty, it just slipped my mind with all the other things I had to attend to for this meeting.
So the question was, well, we're gonna, it wasn't promised. What was said was we can promise to put it on if other things were done. So we didn't put it on because we're not ready to move forward with that.
What are
I have
you
it here,
move
I have-
forward?
the mayor stated about it last time. So I've spoken to the CFO. We can easily get that done and ready. It's just not ready to be presented. We have challenges, as you said, and we could discuss offline. I don't know if you want to discuss that here. It's a personnel matter. And so we should be realizing that we can take care of that at another point in time.
Through the chair, I recommend if it's a personnel matter, be discussed in closed session.
Yes.
Can we move to closed session to discuss it this evening?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion to,
Second.
So you have a motion in a second?
yeah.
Discussion? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we have counsel here. He's advising us.
Yeah,
I did.
That's what you deserve.
I second it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move to that after I finish my comment.
Mhm.
And so we'll thank you. I appreciate that with the attorney because there's some things that we have to whittle through. Huh?
I didn't take.
Go ahead, counsel, Madam
Sorry.
Clerk.
Councilwoman Rudin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa?
Yes.
Council President Castellino?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, we'll move into executive session. We should move now? Okay. All right, then we'll move now then.
Up at the length of time we're going to be in close. How long do you anticipate?
20 minutes.
9:30-ish.
Okay. Mr. Fagan, if you could do the honors to the public, I appreciate it. Conference room? Oh, Karen, you want me to sign off on these things here?
Yeah.
Members of the Zoom audience, the council is going to executive session. Your computer will be on mute, and I will give you updates, as they are warranted. Thank you for your patience. Thank you once again for your patience to those West Orange residents in the Zoom audience. Council has returned from executive session and are ready to resume the meeting. Madam Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Fagan, and I appreciate the public for your patience this evening, especially those that are still in council chambers. Thank you for staying and hanging out with us, but we had some important work we needed to get done, and I appreciate the administration and our attorney for being able to provide that impromptu session. It was very beneficial, so thank you. With that being said, we will move forward with this evening's agenda. Madam Clerk.
Okay, time to review the consent agenda. Approval of minutes of previous meeting, public meeting of September 8th, 2025.
Consent.
Consent.
Report of township officers, none. Reading of petitions and communications and bids. Contract for snow removal services from sidewalks, paths, crosswalk and bus shelters, and stops within the township for 2025-26.
Consent.
Bill list. Are there any questions on the bills?
Okay, do any of my colleagues first of all, does any of my colleagues want anything pulled? From the
Well, no,
bill
that's the
list?
bill list.
The bill list, yes. from the-
Oh, I see what
In
you're
the
saying.
bill
I
list.
don't want anything pulled. I just want to discuss.
So you have
a few-
comments?
Just comments.
Go for it. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I just want to alert the public, if they're not already aware, that Richard Trank is still working for this town. And this month, he earned $15,812.31. And his year to date is over $145,000, which is up 17% from last year at this time. So just for the record, he still does not have an official contract with our town, but he's still taking a lot of money.
Okay,
As a result,
Councilwoman, just continue with your.
okay,
comments.
as a result, also on the bill, we are paying $21,000 this month for extra counsel, which is here tonight, which we're grateful for. However, we are being obliged to pay for extra counsel because Mr. Trank, who is contractually obligated to be here and to serve as counsel, is conflicted out. So that is costing the town taxpayers an additional $21K. I also did want to mention that one of the bills that I pulled was for $2,400 for labor for painting Mr. Smeraldo's office. Last month, I pulled a bill for $1,400 for a new desk. Now, I realize that as an administrator, you have the right to decorate, you have a right to, paint, but, people are hurting. The residents are tightening their belts, and, it's the taxpayers' money. I feel like, we really need some accountability on these type of expenses. And, it's wasteful at worst. And if nothing else, it's kind of tone deaf because we're sitting here at 16 meetings, pulling every line by line by line, and then we see a lot of other expenses. So I
Council, do
want
you have
to.
any other, you're not pulling it though.
I'm not pulling it. I want
Okay.
to ask Mr. Smeraldo about the impression that this is tone deaf to be spending money at a time when our residents are truly suffering. And we are guardians of the public trust and not beneficiaries. So I'd also like to question why a contractor was hired for over $2,000 to paint a single office, why that was not done by DPW. And finally, I'll wait on that. And the other thing that I wanted to comment on is, again, we got a over $1,300 1-month bill for cleaning our dog park. And again, I just want to bring this out. The dog park was given to us from a developer. It's supposed to be a free dog park. We have now spent almost $5,000 this year just maintaining this dog park, which has barely any trees and barely any leaves. And we have 3 men working there an hour each week. And I spoke with Mr. Detiniak about this, about adjusting times. So if it's possible that you can give feedback on that as well, whether we can bring it down to like even just a monthly service call instead of a weekly service call.
Okay, that's all your comments?
That's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
Okay, administration, who would like to respond?
I'll go.
Go ahead,
first.
Mr. Tiniak.
Yes, so I will talk with Director Reynolds and pass that request along if this can be reduced in terms of the manpower needed to service the dog park. And I'll go on his recommendation. So we will ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
He
you.
wasn't in today, so I couldn't ask.
Okay, and then the only thing I'm going to comment are 2 things. One is, administration's entitled, I've been in that office. Pictures were taken down. I mean, there was holes all over the place in the walls, so it desperately need to be painted. So, but to the point, does DPW, do you have anyone that could do the painting instead of going to a private contractor or what's, because I know in my old school board days, buildings and grounds crew would provide those services. You don't have any of those, like
The
any
scheduling of the
personnel?
through the director of DPW, and he's the one who made the arrangements. So why he did it, why he went contracted in lieu of his staff, I don't know. They may have been assigned to other assignments. I don't know. I can't answer that one. But
Okay, but administration is entitled to make those calls. Okay, thank you. So you have one more
I have
comment?
one
Go
more
ahead.
thing. I was just surprised at a $2,000 bill to do one office. It seems very high. And, I was just surprised that we're not using our own staff to do that when we are really trying to rein in costs. The other thing I did want to commend, Mr.
Maurice
Garcia.
Garcia.
Mr. Garcia, the AT&T cell phone bill, which I had been complaining about since I got on council, is really nicely being adjusted. It used to be almost $10,000. We're around 6,000. I see a lot of phones have been collected. So thank you to the staff that looked that over and reined that in.
Okay.
One other thing, I did also notice that on the bill list, the Arts Council, I did not see that we are paying. Am I correct in saying that we did not pay for the Arts Council building on Valley Street this month, or we did?
No, we're not paying the rent anymore. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
as of tomorrow.
we are not paying rent. However, we are paying utilities and security. And that has been billed out going forward. So I would like to request that those fees be recouped from the Arts Council, who should be responsible for those
So I guess
services.
I spoke to the purchasing agent the other day, because of the notice, the way that the certain companies, utilities and whatever they may be, their cancellation policy
Yeah.
is different than a lease. So we have made notice to them. It's just.
Or is a month behind, yeah?
Yeah, it's a matter of when it gets canceled. The notices have been made to the companies.
Okay, and we could touch on a little bit if we're not too late in pending matters about the Arts Council, because it's not that weren't supportive of the Arts Council, but we get a later discussion. But right now for the bills list, are you done, Councilwoman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Scarpa, any comments? Okay. All right, so then I'd like a consent for the bill list?
Consent.
Consent. Okay, great. Resolutions. Are there any resolutions? Well, there is going to be a resolution that's going to be pulled this evening. I'm going to pull 21625. mainly because we need to have a meeting with the affordable housing planner, and the only reason we didn't get to meet because she's away. So we just asked that we're gonna make a motion for a special meeting so we could meet sometime next week. We'll get our schedules to be determined tomorrow or hopefully by Friday. Or no, we want to get it,
Noticed.
what do we need? 48 hours, correct?
Too, by Friday, I can do it.
Okay, do by Friday. Okay, good. Because then we have council president's input as well on his dates that he's available, and I'll reach out to him tomorrow. But this way, we want to wrap that up. So, but we just want to make sure that everyone has their opportunity to ask the questions that they have. And for that reason alone, we will pull it. Are there any other resolutions that the council wish to pull this evening, or first pulling only? If you have a question, we'll address that in a minute, but I want to know if anything else is going to be approved. I mean, pulled. You're,
No, I'm not pulling anything.
okay, Councilwoman Scarpa, you good?
No.
Okay, now questions. Does anyone have any questions on items 209 through 215? Everyone, because I saw a lot of questions going around. Appreciate the administration for answering past 2 days. Everybody good with their answers?
Yes, I feel that all of the answers were satisfactory.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Scarpa, you're good?
Good with everything.
Beautiful. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So
Or-
moved.
Second,
Second. Okay, Councilwoman Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa.
Yes.
Council President Castellino.
yes.
The motion carries.
Okay.
Okay, so resolution 216-25, resolution
Well, we
awarding.
pulled it not to
Not yet.
we're not going to take action on it this evening. We're pulling it, so
I thought you were going to table it.
Need a motion.
oh, table, I'm sorry, table. I thought we did that.
All
Sorry.
right, that's why I wanted to read the
Okay.
title.
Make-
Resolution awarding Hire Gruel and Associates a professional services contract for affordable housing planner. Is there a motion to table?
I make a motion to table.
I'll second.
216. My apologies.
That's okay. Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa.
Yes.
Council President Castellino.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, great. Ordinance on first reading. We have 2938-25, an ordinance amending chapter 3, section 17(1) of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange. And to public comments point, there should be a little bit more detail on that. But 2938, my council colleague Rudin has sent us some edits for it, which I went over with her. I want to first check with, and I think we have to amend it further when I had a conversation with Madam Clerk. So I want to first check with our legal representative this evening. Are you okay with these?
Absolutely not. So this ordinance, which seeks to amend chapter 3-17.1, is problematic for several reasons. One, the introduction of it at the council meeting by a council member violates section 3-17.1 of the ordinance. So you're violating your own ordinance by putting this forth, which says ordinances and resolutions shall be prepared for the consideration of township council by the township attorney or the legal assistant upon motion of the council and request of the mayor. So I'm concerned that by passing this tonight with the changes that are here on its face would violate your existing ordinance, therefore making it not enforceable. So I recommend against that for that reason. The substance of it is also concerning in that you're seeking to change language, which would require that it be submitted to the town clerk or the council and then immediately forwarded to the BA, town attorney, and the head of the affected department, which is fine on its face, but it should be reviewed as per the ordinance that's law now. And then you're seeking to give those officials only 5 business days to review the proposed ordinance and provide comments back. For the reasons I stated during the earlier comment period, each ordinance is particular. It may not be sufficient amount of time to review an ordinance and provide a response within 5 days. A simple ordinance around a parking permit may be. A more complex ordinance, like the steep slope ordinance, may require much more time than that. There's no caveat within this that says, you know, the professionals that are reviewing it can seek additional time and extension. They would simply be constrained to the 5-day period, which would lead to no response, and then this council passing ordinances without the benefit of the professionals providing legal advice, professional advice prior to your adoption. I absolutely recommend against this. If these are concerns of yours, it should be sent back for legal counsel to review and incorporate in the draft that's on the agenda tonight. So my advice, if this is something that's important, you should pull the ordinance that's on the agenda for tonight, send these comments back for council to review, and then at the next meeting, get a response to this and have further discussion.
So question for you, council, and I'll turn over to my colleague who has some of the edits, if she has any questions. So my concern is our past practice of what we've been doing is when we get it, we do have an ordinance on first reading. We've been making edits on first reading, and then if they're substantial, then it does go back to first reading again. If they're not substantial edits, then we're passing it on first reading.
Okay, so you have an ordinance that's in the agenda now.
Yeah.
That went to legal, and in your agenda, it says the attorney that reviewed it, Gingaro, and it indicates that that was reviewed. This looks to amend that with a substantive change. This isn't just correcting a period or grammar that would not be substantive. This is a substantive change, which also impacts the first read. So this could be introduced as it is, but it would be first read. My concern is that it's going to be, it's not following your process. So you're just deviating from what's in your ordinance. And I'm concerned about the substance, which you need feedback on. You could get that prior to second read, but then at that point, you really can't make any more changes, and you have to start the whole process over again. So I'm just giving you my advice on it. Getting this the day of is that you make substantive changes. I haven't been here. I absolutely would recommend against that.
No, non-substantive changes we've
This
made.
is
Yeah,
substantive.
this is substantive. Okay, go ahead, Councilwoman.
Just for clarification, we did not initiate this ordinance or suggest it. This came from the legal department. We got it as a fait accompli this week and had to review it. So this is our ability to put in changes that we feel, if this is going forward, which we did not request, then make it a process that is understandable. The changes that I suggested were to facilitate the process, because what's happening is, I mean, we already have in our ordinance that department heads are supposed to review ordinances, and that the legal department are supposed to review ordinances, but there hasn't really been a process. So sometimes we're leaving here and the clerk, it's not clear that, that the clerk is going to follow through to send this to the department heads. And all this did was basically change, instead of it going to the business administrator, since the clerk works for the town council, that these ordinances are distributed through the clerk, and then the clerk distributes it and then collects it and sends it back. That's really, I mean, I know you're saying that this is substantive, but it's really just a way of distributing the ordinances so that we get back information. As far as putting on a time constraint, I personally felt that a time constraint is necessary. Now, if we're talking about a steep slope ordinance, and that's not possible to do in 5 days, obviously the response is, this takes us more time, and that's the response within 5 days. But at least there is a response, and we're not just being ignored.
Through the chair. So,
Yes.
so absolutely, the words matter that are here, and it says each of these officials shall review the proposed ordinance and submit written comments to the township clerk within 5 business days of receiving it. It does not provide any leeway there. It doesn't say may review, and it doesn't say if they need more time, they can put that request in writing, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to achieve what you just said is your intent here, because that's not reflected on what this says here. This says shall review in 5 days. So if this were to go through and there were a complex issue to deal with, and they didn't get it done within the 5 days, you could point out you're violating the ordinance. We're moving forward. It now gets distributed, because that would follow what it says here. So I'm just pointing out that I think there's more work that needs to be done here. And I just want to point back on this proposed change came from the Council President Krakowiak asked for that amendment. That's why this is back on your agenda.
So Councilwoman, if I may, so what had occurred at the last meeting is we had a conversation. I asked Madam Clerk to play it back because just as we do when it gets late at night, we all start talking and, the last impression isn't always, documented the way we intended to be. So with that being said, Council, should we just give the amendment, go over this right now, and then we're able to give it back to legal and then bounce it back on first reading? I mean, would that be the quickest and appropriate way to do this?
Yeah, I think you should. This is what we want. I think I have the basis of this, and this should be reviewed and brought back in a draft for you to review prior to the next meeting. If it's not acceptable, you say it's not acceptable, you want to change it, but you should get the guidance from council as to how to approach it. I mean, the problems that I'm identifying are objective, and these are substantive changes, and I think the other reading of it would be unreasonable. So I absolutely would recommend this one and the one concerning fire pits should both be sent back to be reviewed, because they both have substantive changes that need to be addressed. This one much more significantly than the other one, but it is a significant change to add in language that's not there, that, is not just punctuation or something minor.
Okay, thank you. So Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask her for her input right now, because the directive here isn't clear. She would like to add to this, because I explained to her how we would like her, when there is an ordinance that we have, to forward it to her, and then to have her forward it to the directive parties, because technically that's how we, handle all other business matters through the administration, through Madam Clerk. So we just want to keep it consistent. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, where do you want us to introduce?
Okay, so right now, our ordinance says that the ordinances and resolutions are prepared by the town attorney. From my understanding of reading this, it says that basically the council or a council member can write the legislation. The way I'm reading this, prior to introduction, each proposed ordinance requiring or permitting administrative action shall be submitted to the town clerk by the council or council member. The clerk shall immediately forward the proposed ordinance to the BA, town attorney, and the head of the affected department. I'm not understanding how the town council, any member of the town council, unless they are an attorney themselves, can write legislation. That would be my first question. I don't know who wrote this.
So let me ask, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
So I'm assuming the intent from us was when a council member writes the legislation and submits it to the town attorney. So I believe this is the process that we're looking to remediate. So we want to make sure that when it comes from the council directly, that there's a process and it's directed. So the process would be, step one is we prepare an ordinance that we want to send to legal. It will go through you to submit to legal and the business administration. and the affected department heads.
So my original understanding of what the council was aiming to do was to be able to put legislation on an agenda without having to first, vote on it at one meeting and then put it on for the next meeting. So I don't understand how a council person can write legislation without having expertise, specifically like the fire pit one too. There's things in here that may have, state statutes and, all kinds of things, not just.
Well, that fire pit one was done that way, which the issue at hand was
Came from legal.
emailed to administration and worked with administration, and it came from legal. So the only thing tonight, to council's point, is there's some edits from the council.
Okay, well, I don't want to start talking about.
So let's
that,
talk
'cause-
about, Leah, let's stay
Yeah.
in this one.
Okay.
I just want to address this quickly and move on,
Right.
but
I just don't understand why the council can't say, implement some type of ordinance where you say, we want the legal department to write this legislation for this particular topic, for whatever, the next meeting or the meeting after that, and then have legal do it, because it just seems to me there's extra steps in here that aren't necessary, that legal could distribute it to me, and then I can distribute it to the council members and to the department heads.
And through the chair, one of the ways that this is done in other municipalities, and I know there's not a committee format here, but there's a committee
Yeah.
meeting where council members are present and there's a draft of the ordinance that's created by legal, and then someone says, hey, why don't we add in that, I'm not picking on this one, fire pits must be registered annually. And there's a conversation in committee about whether we can do that and whether there's further work that needs to be done. Hey, we need to look at state law and see if that permits that. Okay, we're gonna look at that and come back at the next committee and address it. And so that's where the committee work is done. So the same thing can happen here. It's just, it would be an additional meeting to say, okay, here's what we want to do. We want to pass something on the fire pits, comes back on fire pits. Now the council, publicly, everyone can see, says, we want to add in the registration. Okay, that's an idea we can look at, and take that back, review it, and then come back with feedback about that issue at the next meeting. It will take longer because you have one meeting, every 2 weeks now?
Yeah. twice a
Right?
month.
So you'll have to do, but that will be the process, which will just supplant the committee system I just mentioned. That is the best way to do it, the most responsible way, and then takes the ideas and the recommendations, but puts them in the proper legal format with the benefit of, hey, this is violative of state law. This can't be done because the timeframes aren't good enough. And now you're having a dialogue specifically about it, and it's coming back to the next meeting with the changes that you've asked for, or a reason why we can't do that. Or maybe at that meeting, you're discussing, hey, you can't do that. I just looked it up. We're prohibited from that. So that's the work that's done in committees, but you can just do that here. But my point is, there needs to be the benefit of the back and forth for the benefit of the council members and the town, so that you're not passing something that could potentially be damaging.
And I agree with that, because we had this conversation at the end of the last meeting, because, when I was on the school board, that's with policy, that's how we prepare it. But, listen, we've had some trust issues, and this is where this stems from. So I'm going to ask my colleague this evening that, how do you want to proceed with
Well,
this?
I am okay with pulling this and having this one reviewed. Because, I agree with much of what you're saying. In a normal government, in a healthy environment, you have discussion between council members and departments and administration. Unfortunately, that's not happening. And things and ordinances are not being written. And our job here is to create policy and to create law. And it's not happening. So I think that this came from Councilman Krakowiak's idea that this would be another way that we can start getting. And, believe it or not, this council and members of this council have been writing ordinances, and they always do get reviewed by legal. It's not that we're writing the the final ordinance, there's always a step of a legal review. This is just a way to facilitate that actually some of the initiatives that each of us care about will actually come to our meetings.
And just Councilwoman, thank you. Are you done? And just and I just want to say, because there have been directors that have sat with you and worked with us on various topics. So, I mean, there is that part of it. But again, I think as we move forward, this is where we're looking to go. This is where, you know, we're trying to strive for. So I appreciate that you want to pull it and that we could, you know, now our council has heard us. And with his review, I think he's taken notes and seeing so what the intent is, and if you could help us get us there with this legislation.
Now, the process, since we're in this quagmire right now, where we're actually having to pay for extra counsel, this was done by Trank's office. Shouldn't this go back to Trank's office?
It should.
So then this one should go back. That's what.
Which one? I'm sorry.
This is the one that he drafted. He's looking at changes that we've suggested.
I just think practically, if you want to get an ordinance, they're not here, he's not here, so I don't know if he's gonna understand what you've asked
Yeah,
for.
in
I think we
fairness.
should we should draft that response. I can certainly copy everyone on it, including the council, to take a look at it. No reply all, but certainly, so you see it in advance and try to get to a place where we're meeting what you intended with the ordinance regarding 317.1.
Thank you, Council. And Councilwoman, again, I just want to remind you, yes, it is pricier there in the years past. But when we did have the Assistant Town Attorney sitting here, which was Mr. Kaiser, he was paid separately from Mr. Trank's firm. So he was paid separately. So, you know, what's being, you know, built out tonight is, yes, it's an additional expense, but it's one that we've incurred in years past for the Assistant Town Attorney.
Okay, well, there's more discussion there, but I'll let that go.
No, but you know, I just want to make, yes, it's costing us more this year than years prior. But we need to be fair, it did cost us something, so.
And it was a small set salary. It wasn't an hourly billable, and they were working in tandem with the legal department so that there was more coordination of effort. This
Yes,
is
and
very
that's what-
bifurcated.
And that's
Everything
what we're
has-
striving for. That's what we're striving for. So hopefully that day's coming soon. So with that being said, Councilwoman, are you good? You want to make the motion to pull this?
I'll make a motion to pull it.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa.
Yes.
Council President Castellino.
Yes, thank
The
you.
motion carries.
Okay, 2939-25, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7, Traffic Subsection 7-32-1, handicap parking on streets of the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange, Wellington, 19 McKinley. Have a motion to move this.
Yes, to introduce on first reading.
Introduce on first reading.
Yeah, so moved.
Okay,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Councilwoman Rudin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scarpa.
Yes.
Council President Castellino.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, self-explanatory. Anyone have any comments on this evening?
No.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. And let's move to 2940-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 18, the revised general ordinances of the Township of West Orange to add a section regarding fire pits. And I am going to ask for a motion to introduce.
You want to
Motion to
introduce this one as well?
So again, let's have,
Okay.
well, if we're going to talk about it. we
Yeah,
have to
motion and a
introduce-
second.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a motion to introduce on first reading?
I'm making a motion to introduce.
Thank you.
I'll second and we
Thank
can have
you.
a discussion. So-
Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman
Yeah.
Scarpa, Council President Castellino.
Yes, so going back to 2940, so I'm gonna give the floor to my colleague, Councilwoman Rudin. She had some changes, council, you could weigh in after she goes over these changes.
Okay. So the intent of this ordinance, as it was brought to the legal department from our residents, was to create safe regulations regarding the use of fire pits. One of the main complaints was that fire pits were being left unattended. And they were very close to combustible structures and causing concern. So the intent here was to just regulate fire pits. Somehow we got back language in that regulated barbecues. So that was never the intention. And that's why the words barbecue grills and cooking is crossed out.
Okay. There are some other changes. I
Mhm.
don't know if you want to speak.
But one by one, so you can
Okay.
see if what the intent was just fire pits.
Okay, so my initial reaction just would be something like this. To seek information from the fire department, one, what do we do now around fire pits? Are there any fires or any unnecessary things like that have happened over the last few years that they think this needs to be regulated? And then hear back on that issue generally, one, and I don't know if the administration can comment on that now. And then the only concern I'm striking out the language, and this is different than the other ordinance, because I don't know if what was proposed in terms of a classification, if that's language that came from a statute or something, some guidance that that the legal department, when they drafted this, put forth. Our office didn't draft this. So I understand why you struck that out. I just don't know if that was of some other import, why that's in there. And so that's my feedback on that section, but I think this is an example of what would happen if this was brought to go back and forth, get some answers right in real time as much as you can, and then if there's further work to be done to look at it. But to ultimately get to a product where there's an ordinance that makes sense. So I don't think the administration has any comment on that, on the fire issue.
So council, so let me just jump in. Councilwoman, I know you had the floor, but I'm going to jump in here. Okay, thank you. So two things. So as my colleague was stating, so where this generated from, we've received complaints of people that are having fire pits active, why, they leave them unattended, they go back in their home. And we've had this on more than one occasion. We've had folks that have, people that have had their fires out of control with massive amounts of smoke blowing into their neighbor's yard, which is not to state statute, because you're not supposed, I have our former fire chief here on the dais, so he could correct me if I'm misspeaking. So, we felt the need to to regulate this a little bit better. Also, gas devices, I didn't know, I had made a request. I don't see it actually addressed here unless there's another procedure that I don't know about in the township. So if you go to put in a underground gas pit, does it need to be permitted by the town and inspected? It's like a gas line. I would hope somebody's inspecting it. So I don't know if that needs to be in the ordinance or not. So this is where this all came from, those kind of concerns. And so again, we're okay with people barbecuing using coal to grill, those types of situations. So again, I'm sure this is subsidence, so we have to, we're going to have to make a motion to table it this evening, but if we could, just give our input, so something could pop out that is more in line to what our intent was in this legislation. So
Okay.
is that?
Yeah,
Is
so
there-
I
and we should-
don't know, I think, like, you mentioned that barbecue grills weren't the intended, or you're fine with them. I would like to hear back from the fire department on whether or not they think it's a good idea to include that in, because maybe there's another reason why this was added in, because barbecue grills also have become a problem with a fire. So I I think something like this needs the input, the crossouts, because it's here. And I think on the fly to just say we're striking that out is a problem. If you turn to the second page, there's a whole section struck out about outdoor fire pits prohibited at any use group apartments, and there's a code reference there. So I don't know why that was struck out, and there needs to be some feedback on the impact of that. So I think these are fine with your explanations as to why, like overhanging branches, adding that in. Understand that that may be a concern. That's something just to see, is that a problem to put in there? Probably isn't, but just to get feedback, and then at the next meeting, have a discussion in response to all of these things. And from there, you may be able to pass something. It may take further work. You may say, no, we disagree. We want you to look at this, this, and this. And it may take a few meetings to get there, but you're at least working through your concerns, having the benefit of the professionals, not just legal, but public safety, weighing in on these things so you can get answers back that kind of are informed, and then, the final bit is the fee for the yearly permit. Is that something we can do? Do we have the manpower to go out and add that? And who's going to check this? And what's the penalty if you violate? I mean, these are all questions that I would always ask about any ordinance. So if is someone that's not doing this, or you're found to be in violation, is there a section that addresses that? Maybe it is in there and I haven't looked at it, but just general questions about this ordinance. So.
Okay, so with this process, and I think this is great conversation and how we could move forward. So we're having input here this evening, and before I continue with input, is that what we want to do? Because in meetings past, and I'm not finger pointing, but there's been times where we have this kind of conversation and it never gets to legal department and, or where it needs to go. So I assume the person, yourself, counsel, should, and sometimes it does. So I assume this should be coming, we're giving input on this ordinance to you this evening?
Yes.
Is that good? So that's gonna bounce,
And I'm gonna
translate into, that's gonna,
Yes.
okay.
So I've taken down some of your comments. At least we got through the first paragraph. And so I will then incorporate those in my review, follow up with the administration on their input, and then come back with a draft, which may not be exactly what you want, but it'll be what I think you're looking
Okay.
for, or responses. It may put language here that you struck out that and explain why I'm putting it back in. And then come back with a draft that for your review and approval. And you may say, no, not good enough. We want to do this and this, and then go back for another review.
Okay, so just for the record, I want to make sure that the information, does gas devices need a permit? We want to make sure that the fire pits are being attended and that you can't leave them unattended.
That's already in here.
Yeah, that's in there, but again, just those points, those talking points, those
Yeah.
were important. And apartments, like, we don't mind if they're at apartments. I don't understand. We would like an explanation why that was put in there. Cause I mean, some of the newer apartments are having grills on the top of their roofs.
The intent of the state fire code is that they don't want barbecue grills or any kind of device on a balcony that's within 5 feet. So most places have prohibited because it's part of the structure itself. The
Okay.
places such as, like, I would use the example, Stonehill has an area dedicated to
Yes.
barbecue grills that is way far, it's very far away from any building or structure, so it wouldn't violate any part of the code. So I think what that part of that section there is addressing balconies and decking and stuff like that on fixed units.
And that's state statute?
That's in the state code.
So that's state code already?
Yeah, it's state code.
Okay. Okay.
That's for all,
Yeah.
And
like
all-
gas, barbecue.
Yep.
or- Wow.
And they all know it?
There's some HOA regulations, but there's common areas that these, and again, it could be a regulation within the HOA that may be even stricter for you.
Okay,
gas grills on our decks.
we have a deck
We're
though.
not allowed to.
Well,
charge.
let's,
Yeah, so we'll see.
so,
Okay, yeah, I will counsel. Okay, so those were my concerns. I'm gonna just go, we're just gonna go, I'm gonna let Councilwoman Scarpa speak because she hasn't spoken yet. Do you
That's fine.
have?
Yeah, I want to say I really appreciate your suggestion of reaching out. I did reach out to Captain Vecchio, our fire chief,
Okay.
today, and we did have a little discussion
Great.
about this. And I think it's really important that we get the feedback
yeah.
from him and from department heads when we move forward with this stuff.
Okay.
And I don't know what language could go in there. Again, they put seasoned wood. Seasoned wood is supposed to be the clean wood, and our fire captain, I know we have a member of the. Huh?
I'm getting demoted again.
Our chief. I'm sorry, I messed up the mayor too today. I called her Parisi. So, with all that being, with those concerns, I mean, would the language in here, so if smoke is a massive amount of smoke is blown into somebody's yard, I mean, is it articulated here enough? Or I don't know what you could say or not say. We have
That's
seasoned
the-
wood for that reason, because when it is seasoned, it's not supposed to
Oh,
produce that kind
You're
of
saying
smoke.
wood that's sufficiently dried out.
Yeah,
I have a fire pit, so I understand. Wood that's wet will smoke more, and the
Yes.
concern is that creates
yes.
uncomfortable or potential hazard for. So you're going to require seasoned wood. That's something to look at. I don't know. I would look to other municipalities and see if there's any model that we might have, someone else that's done something similar and use that as a base. I haven't seen one to that, and maybe it's not there, but okay. I don't know how you enforce that.
I've
Yeah.
never heard of anything about seasoned wood,
Yeah.
and who's gonna go check?
It's in here.
Well,
It's
Oh,
in
yeah,
here
maybe
already.
it's in there, but I think,
Where-
I mean, that may be in the local ordinance that, I know the chief had pulled this from another municipality, so we can ask him to look into it.
Oh, okay.
The
you know-
only seasoned
I-
firewood, natural gas, or
The
propane may be
chief- The
used.
chief was the one I think found this.
Okay.
This particular ordinance.
Oh,
We could-
type of fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, you're looking?
I'm just looking at stuff online about fire pits, and it says material must be made of non-combustible materials like metal, concrete, brick, or stone. Some people just throw things together in their backyard,
Yes,
so that might be
You might be
something.
better off as a suggestion is that you put that you don't use construction material debris, because there are people that use, like, say, womanized wood, or, they did trim work in their house and it's manufactured wood and things of that
Right.
nature. And people, and what's the easiest way to get rid of it? Instead of the garbage, they throw it in their fire pit,
Right.
which will cause noxious smell.
This is also
smoke.
what the fire pit itself is made of.
So,
Okay.
so that's something we could discuss with the professionals.
Just my note on the seasoned wood is goal is to limit excessive smoke. So I may add language regarding that issue, because it's just about the smoke, not necessarily the wood. You hope that seasoned wood would
Yeah.
contribute to it.
The intent of seasoned wood is that it burns cleaner, it leaves less debris, it doesn't smolder as long, because it's just gonna burn up. If it's ready to go, it's a fuel, and it's just gonna go. It's like using diesel fuel or gasoline in a comparison. One is hotter and brighter and quicker, the other one's more laborious and burning. With diesel fuel takes forever to light up, and it's more caustic. Similar as maybe using as a comparison for you.
Thank you. And Councilwoman? Renee?
It's not just about the smoke. It also is about what the product is that is being burnt. Because we have reports of neighbors burning plastic skulls, like,
Plastic
yeah,
skulls.
Halloween stuff in fire pits. It's really toxic. So limiting this so that what is being burnt is just people, we also have banned burning leaves, I believe. So, I mean, to specify that only wood can be burnt makes sense, because you don't
Yeah.
want people burning plastic.
Yes.
And I just would
Toxic.
prohibit burning of certain items. Maybe we want to be even more explicit in this as well, about plastics and other things. But yes, that makes sense. I understand.
Okay. Well, thank you. This has been very
Can we
productive.
continue with going through the changes? So that you understand?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the reason, under nuisance, the it's crossed out the word unreasonably interfere. That's a very subjective word, unreasonably. Like if somebody is complaining to the point that the smoke from my neighbor is interfering with my health, I think that's reasonable, and that there should be, the police should be able to respond to that. The reason why we have taken this forward is because neighbors are calling about this problem, and the police come out and say, and it's mostly the police, because the fire officials are not doing this in the evening. They say, there's nothing we can do. So by putting some sort of safety structure in place, then they can say, okay, you're unattended, this is closed down. You're burning plastic, this is closed down. You're less than 20 feet from your neighbor's property, this is closed down. So the reason here was really for safety. So unreasonably, I felt, was very subjective. I think we have to listen more to our neighbors who are saying that they have serious health concerns when fire is burning next to their homes.
I understand.
So
Um,
I would counter that, though. That's not true statement about the fire, because we're on 24/7. A fire captain has the same authority under the license of the appointed fire official, that if they administer the code, you'd probably want the fire department to go there because they can extinguish it. You send a cop out there, a police officer, or I apologize, Herbie, a police officer out there, you know, they're just gonna look at it and say you have to put it out, whereas the fire department can respond. They're there 24/7, and they can abate the violation right there. And if need be, they can, you know, whatever the ordinance says, they can further send it to the official for whatever investigation they need to do.
That's good to know. I didn't realize that they'll go out. Obviously, if there's a fire, they're going to go out. That's what they do.
Yeah, there's 24/7,
Yeah.
365.
Okay, so the reason why I crossed out, I didn't know why apartments and multifamily dwellings were prohibited. I think that if they are abiding by the same distances that we've set out in the earlier paragraph of 20 feet from the property line and 15 feet from combustible, that, you know, why would we,
Councilwoman, they just said the code from the state is for balconies.
I understand, but we're not talking about balconies. We're talking about apartment and multifamily dwellings.
And they have them. They said they have, the Stonehill has them, they have them.
No, I'm just saying, like, there are many apartment buildings and multifamily homes throughout West Orange, even on streets that you might not realize that this is a multifamily home. So why would that multifamily dwelling be excluded from having a fire pit if they can meet the distance requirements? That's all I'm saying. So I didn't understand why we would be excluding people who are living in apartments, if they have the proper.
Is it in the
property.
code that they're excluded?
So
Yeah.
so you got an answer?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think you just answered your own question, because if it's 20 feet away, they may not have the 20. feet.
Exactly.
So that's what has to be specified.
But that's already specified earlier, that if it's 20 feet, it might not work, but it might work in some cases. Extinguishment, this is really from, you know, what,
I'm sorry, I think this references, and I'll look at it and come back. It says outdoor fires are prohibited at any R2 use group. So I think in your zoning ordinance, apartments and family dwellings, it's already prohibited that outdoor fires are not allowed there. So I want to pull that and then the code and then come back as to why this is here.
I just didn't want to create a discriminatory code
Okay.
that would be unfair to apartment dwellers.
Okay.
As far as H, I think that the former fire chief would agree that these are part of, I think, a larger code, just that the fires must be attended and supervised by an adult. We added that in, not just be until the fire is extinguished.
Yeah, so I read this one. It looks like you're adding in obviously that, and also that you have to have a fire extinguisher in addition to a garden hose or a sand-fill bucket outside.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that state code?
A fire garden hose, I Honestly, I don't know if that's actually part of the fire code. That may be part of this local ordinance. There are provisions in the fire code that are specific to fire extinguishers. But I don't know how that is exactly with this particular item. You know, it may be in there, and like I said, this came from the chief. And I believe the fire official looked at it, so this may be pulled out of the code. I can't say specifically on this
Okay.
particular section.
But I understand this section.
Okay, and then enforcement, it just follows other enforcement measures that we have, which is that the police chief, fire chief, or any other code enforcement department. So in this, what I crossed out was zoning official, because first of all, the health department could also be included in this. They're also a code enforcement. So why single out the zoning officer? So I felt code enforcement incorporates both departments.
Does the administration have any feedback on that issue?
I don't believe so. I would like to talk to the health director first. I think that's in fairness to the health director, but.
Okay, we can come back on that item.
Okay.
Councilwoman, I just want to interject here. So when we say, just to make sure we have the right language, police chief, fire chief, is it and/or its designees? Because the chief, the chiefs aren't going out on these fire calls.
And their employees, designees or assigns, I think is still there.
All right, so I don't know if fire should be enforced by the police department
I'm
or.
not trying to draw lines, but it should be fire chief, police chief.
Being that it's a fire.
It's a fire.
Yeah, we could switch that.
You know, not
Okay.
trying to,
As long as it's written.
I'm not trying to fuel that fire. Fire, but
Just saying.
yeah, yeah.
I think the police would gladly let you guys have this one, so.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay.
Talking about fire pits.
And I
Okay,
just want to amend something I said earlier. There's a penalty provision in here, so that is already in place in this,
that's already there. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And then the only other thing that I added was that the outdoor pits must be registered annually by the township. And a fee for a yearly permit be set by resolution, which is how we set all of our, the reason behind this was frankly just so that the fire department has a handle on how many fire pits are out there. And if we ever are in a drought, that we could quickly message people and say, hey, no fires while we're.
We did that last year anyway, when we had the
the
problem.
gas line.
We do that anyway, so whether we know where they're at, we just tell people it's prohibited. I mean, last year there was a statewide ban.
Right.
So we just had to tell people if we caught them, then they'd be in violation, so. Sometimes we get bigger teeth to enforce from the state enforcing, putting in a ban, so.
And we're talking minimal fee and it shouldn't be too burdensome for the
But
for the administration to pick this up, right? To have somebody register online.
It's just another form.
To the chair. Question on this one. So this covers any kind of fire pit or a permanent fire pit? Because there are the metal fire pits that
That's a
you
good
can put in the
point.
backyard.
Any,
It's not permanent or some other type of structure. So we're looking to have a permit, a registration for anything. Okay.
It
think
also
real-
gives another set of eyes on, what's been set up.
but also
And they
gotta
have
be
to
real.
check off of the form, is it 20 feet away? Is it 15 feet away? Is it, it's just another way of enforcing what we want.
Enforcement area, I don't know if the fire department has.
Yeah,
the
I don't
ability
think
to
it's
do so.
reasonable.
I just don't know, we have our staff on 24/7 on the apparatus. They do inspections as it is to go out and do this. We have a very limited fire prevention bureau to go out and do this. So this is something that, if we're gonna go out and do enforcement, we have to consider, this may be a staffing issue, just so you realize.
Yeah,
that.
no, I hear it.
So
May not be reasonable to enforce. The,
that's the only thing I would take into.
okay, Madam, as you notice, I run a looser meeting because I do like all the collaboration and the ideas. Madam Clerk.
So I'm just reading again online and it says something about getting a permit to install a fire pit. So that would come, I assume, from the,
So that would be a permanent one.
right, right, but that should be addressed in the ordinance if you are gonna that people need to get a permit from the township in order to install, and then it should be inspected.
And that
That's in our ordinance.
Is it? Is it? Do we have an ordinance on fire pits that?
No.
have to get
Oh,
permit
what
to
do you?
install?
This may also fall under part of the building with the UCC, because if you're building
Yeah, it says
depending on the
something
type
about
of, so we may have to incorporate the construction official with
Yeah, it
this
says
as
here,
well.
the installation must comply with local zoning laws and the uniform construction
Yeah, you're
code.
gonna need the construction official in this too, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get
Because if
him.
you're building something, some people build permanent pizza ovens,
Yeah.
some people build, outdoor,
Outdoor kitchens.
outdoor kitchens,
Yeah.
so. And they may be fueled with wood, they may not be fueled with gas, and if it's fueled with gas, then they have to go through the plumbing permit, and they have to go through, so there's,
it's a lot.
this can be, quite daunting in what we want to make sure we're covered. Whether this ordinance says, applicable UCC codes or whatever the case may be, we may have to engage the construction official as well.
And that's why I was asking about the gas line, because the gas line and
There's no doubt the gas line's gonna need a permit, and then there's gonna be drawings and things of that nature, so.
Yeah.
So maybe the simple answer may be that it has to apply, it has to conform with all applicable UCC regulations. And then the construction official could just take over from there, because if you add the UCC to this, we're gonna be burning it, we're gonna have to cut down those trees to make this paper.
no, I get it. I get it. Okay, are you done with your comments,
Well, I'd just
Councilwoman?
like to ask a question. We have complaints going on right now. People are suffering, both from the smoke and from fear of being near unattended fire pits. And and when the fire officials go out now, they leave. Is there anything that you can do to, while this is being crafted, because I do hear that this is going to be a complicated process, to stop this, to respond to people who are suffering?
I don't, it all depends, if somebody knocks on the door and the tenant or the owner opens the door and they say, no, I didn't leave it unattended, I think it's gonna be word, who's reporting it, I don't know, I think there's discretion that has to be used with the fire officer that's there or the police officer. I mean, if somebody witnesses it, nobody's gonna condone an unattended burning. If they see it, they're gonna, the firefighters will put it out. I mean, they can just do it unattended burning. But if you knock on somebody's door and they're answering the door, I'm not unattending, I'm answering the door to come to talk to you. These are some of the scenarios you're gonna run into, so they have a right to deem things, to make things safe. It's just each scenario is gonna be, have to be addressed at when they go there,
But I'm just saying that right now we have nothing. And this is obviously going to take a few months to get right.
No.
So,
I don't think so. I
Couple,
don't
a couple times.
Next meeting.
Yeah. The mom works
I mean,
best.
No, that's one of the things we talk about, like, there's gonna be, we should address the prohibited burning, arbitrary leaves and, construction debris, those things that should be addressed in there. But that's clear and definitive. So.
I think we're making a lot of progress, and this is very helpful to understand what the goal is, at least for me in crafting it. I've just doing research on other municipalities and see who has any fire pit ordinances that we can use as a basis, but I think it makes sense to regulate this in the way that you're looking for. It just has to come back.
Okay.
I think you're all,
Sorry, Mayor.
I was gonna say that I think you already have the people that are already involved, already spoken to the chief, already spoken to the captain. So they already know that this is happening. We just have to bring in the building official.
We've had at least two, if not three meetings on this already ourselves internally.
Right.
Great.
People, it shouldn't take that long. That was the point I was making. It shouldn't take that long because everyone is already involved in it.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Detiniak?
The only thing that I noticed from the ordinance is that because of the restriction that you have to be 20 feet from the property line, you could essentially restrict homes with small yards from ever having.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's just because my old house was 40 by 100, so I wouldn't have the space to put a fire pit.
So funny you should bring that up because I said, and I forgot to
Mhm.
mention myself
Was
this
thinking the same
evening,
thing.
my property is 40 by 150. So does that mean my pit, would it go right smack in the middle? Like, how does that work? So,
Sideways.
you know, I get a very skinny pit. So is that 20 feet? My question was,
Is
is
that a
that, I
realistic
forgot to ask, was that 20 feet by code or is that here in,
That's,
I think that was in this.
Yeah, whatever.
Because we don't have anything.
oh, we don't, so then I would ask to bring that down to 15 feet. Because there are properties, like I said, all down the hill, all down the hill. So we got it,
that,
this,
no,
we're big.
that guideline was not put forward by me. It was
Yeah.
put forward by
Okay.
legal. And I assume that that came from some sort of fire code.
So
So we could look at it. We could talk to everybody, see what they.
So, and just looking at what Bloomfield does, they do it a different way where the sections regarding recreational fires and they then cover outdoor fire pits and untreated lumber, treated lumber, and it's a different way of dealing with it, but it may address some of the concerns as well, because it talks about smoke and excessive smoke as being something that could trigger a potential fine.
Do you have anything about the feet and how many feet away?
Must be, fires must be kept in the rear yard at least 15 feet away from any structure or
15, so 50.
combustible
Well,
exterior.
that's what we have, 15 feet.
the property line's a whole different, yeah.
Yeah. Which in theory, if you think about it, if you just do the 15 feet, if you're on a property line, if there's a house, there's no house on a property line. That's normally there's no house on the property line. So you're gonna be at least 20 feet from, or 15 feet from somebody else's house.
Yeah, but you
So-
do have people that would put their fire pit in the corner of somebody else's
No,
property. Yeah,
that's where you have to have that distance
Yeah.
of something where, 15 feet of any property. So if you put it right on your property line and it's within 15 feet, you're in
Yeah.
violations.
And they included in the nuisances public health section, and it's just recreational fires is listed as one of the areas under that. So it's enforced by code enforcement, and then there's an ability to abate the condition, which is good for residents who may not have known before their fines actually kick in. So I'd love the opportunity to take what you've given and provide feedback with what I'm seeing in other places, and maybe there's some things that you like, you don't like, but there's different ways at least quickly I'm seeing this done.
I was thinking the same thing the first time, should kind of be a warning, like other.
well, well, we do our fines by resolution, so.
No, here's any person who violates condition shall be punished by a fine not to exceed
that's
2,000. So you're gonna get a
restriction.
violation right there.
You're talking about permit fees.
Yeah, permit fees, I'm sorry. Okay, is everybody good? Any more
I'm good.
comments? Are we
Yeah,
all?
I look forward
vetted
to the
this out?
feedback. I think we'll get this right.
Okay, I
do
want,
have a question. Will this, just in the interest of making this happen, you will be emailing the council?
Yes.
Within,
No,
so that we have enough time to review it before it comes back as an ordinance, before our next meeting?
So, what's your normal process on getting the agenda? Like, do you have a deadline when you get it?
we usually get the agenda,
Friday.
we get it Thursday, well, you have to get it to Madam Clerk, Wednesday before the meeting.
Noon.
By 3. So our meeting's
That's
on
not on
the
the agenda.
15th, you may have an extra day because the 16th is on a Thursday. So let him know.
Well, it would be, if our meeting's on a Thursday, so I would probably, I'd have to figure out the date I need the meeting material by. Because it wouldn't be a whole,
Don't forget we have Columbus Day.
Yeah,
because it's. I have to figure it out. I can't do it off the top of my head.
so I think it's appropriate, and under the OPMA guidelines, I would submit it. So it's part of that agenda packet, you have it, and then if we want to discuss any changes, it has to be done here. Emailing me candidly separately your comments would technically be a violation because it should be at the public meeting, the dialogue, so the public can see it. So
No,
if I were to send it early, I wouldn't be able to take the feedback until the meeting. But I could try to get it to you as early as possible for that deadline.
right.
So you have it.
Yeah, so it'd be Friday the 10th.
Okay, so we appreciate that
Yeah.
because this has been very healthy this evening and
Yeah.
hopefully you have enough from all of us to, be able to edit this.
Okay.
Okay, we're good with that? Okay. Did we do the motion to table it?
No,
No.
you already introduced it on.
Okay, so now we got to table it, correct?
Okay.
Right? Yeah, we have to table it.
Want to table it, right?
There was a motion and a second for discussion. I know you called the roll, but I don't think the intent was to vote on it for first reading.
That's what they did.
Oh, okay.
What do you want us
So
to
how does
do?
that work? That's interesting, because usually I'll do a motion, in a second
And then that's discussion right there.
Yeah,
before it's voted on.
Yes.
Okay, yes, so they voted on it. All right.
okay,
All
so
right.
do we need to turn this down now or make a motion to table
Can
it?
they rescind?
Motion to rescind this second, rescind the vote and then table.
Okay, I make the
No,
motion.
Councilwoman Rudin would have to rescind
Okay,
first
go ahead,
because she made the
Councilwoman.
first
I
motion.
make a motion to rescind.
A second, okay. And then Councilwoman Castellino, you would have to do the second.
I
'cause you-
rescind.
Okay.
You second.
I second my.
You
rescind.
second to rescind, I got it.
Um,
Okay, and now a motion
Now
to,
the roll call or.
oh, so sorry, yes. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, Councilwoman Rudin,
yes.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Scarpa, Council President Castellino. I'm like
Yes.
getting all, okay, motion carries. And now you do your next motion.
Motion to
To
table.
table.
Okay, so I make a motion to table.
Second. Okay. Councilwoman Rudin,
Yes.
Councilwoman.
Yes.
Scarpa, Council President
This is
Castellino.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, so that's tabled.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you, Madam Clerk, and to everyone for that productive session. Pending matters, new matters, council discussion. Are we all talked out this evening?
Think so.
Do I need to discuss the appointment to the Rena House, or is that just?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're good then? Okay, awesome. Then I
Oh,
get
wait,
it.
listen, I had sent you somebody as a consent appointment for the rent leveling board. I sent you his resume.
Who was it?
The
The only one I got was David Miller.
No. Hmm?
I don't remember getting that. Can you tell me when?
Yes. Hold on a second.
And the Madam Clerk will work on the date for that meeting.
Oh, yeah, so we should talk about that.
The special.
Well,
Right.
we'll do it tomorrow, do it tomorrow. Yeah, we gotta get. the
Okay,
bill.
gotcha.
We're shooting for Monday.
Yeah. Okay. Right, yeah, everyone should check their
Oh,
calendars.
yes,
and-
okay.
Just so you know, I sent Mrs. Rule a email earlier to see if she's available.
Awesome, thank
So
you.
I will reach out to her in the morning.
Please, Peter, copy me on the response so I can,
Yep. Yeah, you were copied on the email. You got that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good council.
Yeah. I don't have that.
You want to get it to her tomorrow or?
Is that this?
Oh, here I have, this is from June 12th, I have.
Oh, wait, what are you doing?
I wanted to suggest somebody for rent leveling.
I have
Okay,
an
so,
email here from June 12th. Is that the one you're talking about? For
No.
Connor or?
No,
Oh, okay.
you want to put somebody on the
Sure.
rental board?
we have, no, I did put
Got
somebody,
that tonight.
yeah.
The Rena.
Um,
We got a meeting Thursday.
I don't
Who
have
is
any
it?
other one.
David Miller.
David Miller.
Oh, yes, okay. Did you send out the resumes to everybody?
Tomorrow, because he's being appointed.
Yeah, I'm good. I could consent on him.
You don't need consent, do you?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, he's already.
It's my appointment.
Oh, it's your appointment. Oh.
Yeah,
Nice that you present.
but I'll
always
send
nice
it out.
to-
Okay, so then we could shut the meeting and you just get it to her. Or you need to vote on it now or no, do we need a vote?
Okay.
So we can make a motion to close that.
Motion,
Consensus appointment, so you'll get me the resume, and then we'll put it on for the next agenda, because you do have to consent on a consensus appointment.
Okay, on the next agenda.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I didn't get the information, or if I did, I don't know where it is, because I don't see it here.
Does
The
she
last one I
want
got
you
was-
to, what are you trying to do?
I just wanted to get council consent. I thought it was going to be on, so it's okay. We'll do it next time. or Monday.
You could
Yeah,
still
I
attend
don't-
the
I
meeting.
don't see any email in my mailbox, but except for the one in June.
Okay.
Okay. For a consensus. Is that it?
Everybody good?
I'm
We're good to
good.
go home? Okay, do I have a motion to end this
Yeah,
meeting?
to adjourn.
34, right?
Okay.
second.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, thank you,
Okay,
West
sure.
Orange, for hanging in there.
West Orange.
And thank you to my colleagues for giving me this privilege this week.
Thank you. You did a fabulous job.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.